Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning. Appreciate you being here and appreciate you hanging out with us. The last few days we have been in travel mode here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, but we have not left you empty-handed. We've had specials on Wake Up Call airing all around the world for you. You've been able to watch them on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. And those specials have included our Bryant and Stratton Syracuse women's soccer sit-down special with student athletes from El Salvador, the Bahamas, and Australia, as well as Antigua and Germany. And so you got to really get a feel for the world just from sitting at one table in our Bobcat Buzz special with women's soccer. I want to thank Nady, Amara, Tassian, as well as Nina for being a part of that show. I want to thank the women's soccer head coach of Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, Alex Grigorita, for sitting down with me with our special. And a big-time shout-out to our Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse winning their first game of the season for women's basketball on October 24th. And you got to see my specials with head coach Tay Baker, as well as Maggie Traore and Destiny Perry, as well as Deontay Reeds-Fuller. And then in the Dolphin Dive that you saw on Wednesday during Dolphin Time, you had the opportunity to have exclusives with the Lemoyne College Dolphins and my sit-down conversations on site on campus with Lemoyne Dolphins head softball coach Tracy Roman, who broke the news that her team will be the first team at Lemoyne to face off against Syracuse University in Division I competition that counts. And then you got to see history in the making with Susan Kim, the Lemoyne women's volleyball head coach, who celebrated the first Division I win for the volleyball team in her first year as a head coach. And you also got to see Allison Moreau, who has been on Wake Up Call since the beginning. I believe she was my first women's soccer interview at Lemoyne on campus, and definitely a huge support and much love to Allison, who got her 300th career save and counting in her time at Lemoyne, and we got to do a special with her. So, didn't leave you empty-handed when I was on the road doing Big East Media Day for men's basketball and ACC tip-off for men's basketball. 24 teams covered in about 24 hours' time, and while I was doing all of that, you were getting Bryant and Stratton exclusives as well as Lemoyne exclusives in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnerships with both institutions. So, with that being said, we're here on Friday inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. And what's poppin' on a Friday is Papa Joe. He's with us. So, what we had to do is combine two shows, our Thursday broadcast with PJ and our Friday cast with the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, which is the acronym I created with the big guy upstairs, and that being Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. And the Top Dog of the Week, which spotlights an organization, team, or individual, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. So PJ is going to join me with all of these. We're going to interwove these into our conversation with Papa Joe, as PJ and I will be talking about Major League Baseball's World Series. The team that people thought couldn't do it, wouldn't do it, my Arizona Diamondbacks. Embrace the chaos and the hashtag that I started at the beginning of all of this stuff in the playoffs, which is snake bitten. And so I want to thank a lot of you for embracing that. Very excited. Got some big news coming up on this show today. And PJ and I will go through our college football Week 8 picks. We'll make Week 9 picks. We'll go to the NFL Week 7 picks and how we did there. And then we'll make our picks for Week 8. So a lot of stuff coming up. Of course, the Jaguars in Duval. So we'll have a good time here on the broadcast today. A lot of stuff coming up. Papa Joe, how we doing?
Very good, Daniel. I'm sitting here having some of Mary's homemade banana nut muffins. So I'm going to have to eat and talk at the same time.
You poor thing, having some good baked goods from MT. I wish I had some MT. Where are mine? Are they in the mail? Are they on their way? So definitely happy to have you here on the show. We're going to start the show off with the Annoying Moment of the Week. Like I said, PJ is going to join me within this for the first time ever. So let's hop into the Annoying Moment.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Let's get into it, folks. My annoying moment of the week isn't hard for you to see if you've been paying attention. The Syracuse Orange football team is not in shambles. They are. I don't even. What is more than shambles? This is not a foundation. This is not a house. This is not a shack. This is not a shanty. This is not an igloo. This is not a hammock. It's nothing. It's become nothing. And I'm not sitting here to bash the players, because the players work and the players try and they do what they can. And I know that there's been coaches that have come and gone that have tried to do some things too. But it's not working. It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I hold a lot of people accountable for this, because they've made decisions that have continued to express mediocrity. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I'm sad about it. It's not fair. It's not good. It's not good for the kids. It's definitely not acceptable. This has been a travesty in many ways. It has been an unfortunate series of events. This team, unfortunately, in the world that we live in with Syracuse football, have come to expect them to do this, to come out looking good. And granted, they didn't play top competition. Now, I want people to understand something. A lot of teams go out there and play competition that they expect to beat during the season. There's games like that we see Alabama play. There's games like that we see Clemson play. There's teams out there that they are meant to just beat the heck out of as they get comfortable and as they move forward. Get some guys in, build some depth, so on and so forth. But the Syracuse Orange, once they beat those teams that they're supposed to beat, which they don't always do, they go into an area where now they're playing top competition. Now they're playing better teams. And they look like a team that just picked up a football versus a team that won 9 championships. Virginia Tech, some thought their season was over when their season began. Some people thought they weren't going anywhere. Some people thought that team was a weak team, a team that was going to fall. Syracuse made them look like a top 5 ranked national team. They made them look like a college football playoff caliber team. They basically made the fan base in Blacksburg, Virginia, feel good, feel a resurrection. If for nothing else, Syracuse can be credited with getting the fan base back into the Hokies, if they weren't. We can't keep going in this direction. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. I have a good relationship with Dino Babers. We've been able to spend time talking, and I've enjoyed and I've appreciated my time with him. At the same time, I expect this to change, to get better, to move forward. It's not. It hasn't been. And some things are unacceptable. I've also, when looking at this program, as much as I have good relationships, there's people within this program that have lied to my face. So I can only imagine if they've done it to somebody else. I'm tired of the same thing. I'm tired of going through the same motions. I'm tired of turning on a television and seeing a team represent my city in a way that to me is deplorable, it's unacceptable, and it is embarrassing. This is national television. This is ESPN. You had an opportunity to show the world who you are, and you did, but not in a good way. And if Syracuse continues to play in this manner, this way for the rest of the season, they will lose every single game. They will end this season like they did last year. They started 6-0 last year. And do you remember how it ended? Starting 6-0, Syracuse ended the season 0-7. They had 2 separate seasons, essentially. Going 6-0 and 0-7 to finish their season 0-7. It is not something that I want to see again. I have been patient. I have waited. I have found the positives. I've looked in places that people refuse to look. I've been the eternal optimist. And a fan wrote to me last night when I put out my thoughts, and he said, Dan, it's hard to see what you're saying right now. It's hard to see what you're writing because we know how much of a supporter you have been. And so what it is the fact that, and I appreciate this, it's that fans have come to see me as a positive voice, glass half full, somebody who will try and find every which way to see how this team can move forward and see the good in this team. So if I'm going to say that I don't like what I'm seeing, they take it to heart, saying, well, if Dan is saying this, then it must be true. It must be there. It must be real because he doesn't pick on this team. He doesn't go after this team. If he's going to say he doesn't like something, we must really have to look at that. And I respect that, and I appreciate that from the fan base, that you know if I open my mouth on something that I don't like about this team, and if I finally get to a point where I've seen enough, that it speaks to you, that you hear it. And I want you to hear me now. It's time for a change. There are coaches out there that want to coach this team. They have told me. I don't speak from places where I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I've spoken to coaches that have told me they want to be here. They want to coach this program. They care about this program. They've been waiting for an opportunity to lead this program. You may think that there's nobody out there that wants to coach Syracuse, and you're wrong. There are people that want to, people that care, people that recruit this community, people that have worked in football for a long time that have never taken their eyes off of Central and Upstate New York. It's time to make a change. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't like seeing this. I go to games where there's 10,000 people in the seats. There's 50,000 seats to fill. Other stadiums have 100,000. 90,000. Go to Ohio State, 100,000. Penn State, 100,000. Notre Dame, 100,000. Florida State, 90,000. And they fill the seats. Syracuse's arena is half the size of those arenas, and they can't fill half of half. They can't get 25,000 people to stay until the end of a game. It's become despicable. It's become disgusting. It is an egregious party foul. Paul Pasqualoni was fired for being 6-6 for 2 straight years. And now when Syracuse gets to 6-6, we cheer. We consider it good. We have accepted mediocrity, and you get to keep what you fight for. If you fight for subpar, you get to keep subpar. If you fight to get a C on a test, you might get a D. But if you fight to get an A, you might get a B. We're not fighting to get 100 on a test right now. We're fighting to pass the class so that we can keep playing. We're fighting for a 65. That's what we're going after right now. And I'm done. I'm tired. I'm over it. I have tried to find a way through this, and there is no way through this. Leadership needs to change. The university, which I will not put with a capital U, I will put with a lowercase u, until they earn the right to be Syracuse Capital University. They have detached themselves from the community. They have disrespected the media. They have disrespected the people that have been the alumni. They have not welcomed in former football players like other schools have. They have disgustingly, egregiously hurt themselves in the past, the present, and the future. Syracuse University is a lowercase university. They are a subpar example of what it is to be a leader in today's world. And until they fix their problems, I will not sit here and keep my mouth shut and pretend like I accept the way they treat me, the way they treat you, and the way that they have treated this program. It's wrong, and I'm not shutting up about it anymore. Papa Joe, thoughts?
Well, what can I say, Daniel? I mean, I had to turn the game on last night because I knew we'd be talking about it today. Usually we would, if it was on Thursday, we would make a prediction, but you know, I only watched a couple series, and you know the way I look at things, I look at the line of scrimmage, and whoever's dominating the line of scrimmage, whether it be offense or defense, you know, it usually winds up pushing guys around and winning a game. Well, that's exactly what happened. And Syracuse had no rushing offense. They had no answer for the VTEX offense, which is basic. They ran the hell out of the ball. You know, for as long as I've been with you on this show, you've criticized them more than once, and justifiably so. There isn't there isn't anything that you said that is not true. The only problem I have with what you said is if our other coaches want to come there, wonder about what type of remuneration they would get. You've told me over the years that Dino Babers is not paid very much. Now, look at you sign a coach up for a top flight national program, and you're talking $5 to $8 million a year. Now I know that Dino's not anywhere close to that. So, just to expound on what you were saying, what coaches out there would take a chance to come here for less than that, and of course not guaranteed?
Yeah.
Babers has had decent recruiting classes. He's not the 5 and 4 star guy that I'm used to down here in the South. He does recruit solid guys, and he has a good group of 3 stars that are coming in that I'm sure a couple of them should be 4 stars. But I was so upset last night when I went to bed. I said, I know I got to be ready for Daniel Lamar because he's going to be bitching. So, and it's true. So, but what you said is true. And the only caveat I have there is that if the Babers is released, how much they're going to have to pay him, and who would come in for millions less than what they would normally be paid out in the open field.
Well, and the thing is, in Dino Babers' case, they've given him raises. In Dino Babers' case, when he went 4-8, they gave him a raise. When he went 1-10, which is the worst record I've seen Syracuse have ever, and the other person that had it was Greg Robinson, may he rest in peace. So we look at that, and I say to myself, Greg Robinson was unacceptable to the fans. When you mention Greg Robinson to the fans, they still get mad, they still get upset, they still want to throw up, they still have trouble hearing it. Yet Dino Babers has the exact same record as Greg Robinson, and Syracuse gives him a raise. Gives him a raise. The only other team I have seen that has commended someone for having one win in a season or no wins in a season is when the Cleveland Browns were like, hey, Romeo Crennel, you haven't won a single game, but you're not going to get fired. You're going to stay on the team. You're going to be here. Now, I don't wish Dino to get fired. I don't wish bad on Dino. I don't wish bad on the staff that's at Syracuse. I know how hard it is to get things to work sometimes. I know how long sometimes things take. But when I look at this, and I look at this team, and I look at this culture, people that don't know Syracuse University don't get it. But if you've been around Syracuse University, oh, you get it. You get it. They have fought for this mediocrity because of the decisions that they made. They have made subpar decisions, doing subpar things, subpar work, and subpar connections. Ego gets you so far in the world, but Syracuse University's ego has finally bit them in the butt. It is biting them all over the place, and it is finally coming through. I would not be surprised if the ACC said to Syracuse, we'll do what we have to do to write you out of the story. Because the value of Syracuse University to the ACC ain't nothing. They're not adding to your television. If Syracuse right now was in a system with a tiered system for basketball and football, and the ACC said we're going to revenue share based on what you give us, Syracuse would be in the bottom level. They would be the bottom feeder. I can't even call them Rutgers of the Big Ten anymore because Rutgers is going to a bowl game. Rutgers is already there. Maryland, other teams have gotten better. Look at the ACC in football. Look at the ACC. Wake Forest, consistently good, not occasionally great. And they lose their quarterback, Sam Hartman, to Notre Dame, or else I think this year they would have been vying for an ACC championship again. An opportunity to play in it again. So we look at that. We look at the fact that Duke's gotten better. Duke was a bottom feeder. Duke was a 3-win team. North Carolina was a 1-3 win team. And they've gotten better. Virginia Tech looked like they were rebuilding. And then when they played Syracuse, they looked like the Patriots. With Tom Brady, not the Patriots now. We look at, if you didn't know who Drones was now, you know who Drones is today. You know who he is this morning for Virginia Tech? Because Syracuse, once again, was a highlight reel. This Syracuse's biggest give to the ACC, the most that they've given the ACC, is that they are the highlight reel. They have given their biggest contribution to being in the Atlantic Coast Conference is to being in the highlight reel on the NFL draft. When you're showing tape of Lamar Jackson, he's running against Syracuse. When you're showing Trevor Lawrence, it's against, it's what he's doing again. I mean, you see Syracuse will show up over and over again in highlight reels on the wrong side of it. That's their biggest contribution. Almost every single team in the ACC in football has gotten better, except for Syracuse. Everyone's moving forward except for Syracuse. In basketball, there's the hope that things will get better. But again, will Syracuse win an ACC title in basketball? That may never, ever happen. And if it happens, I would argue that it's going to happen one time, and then you might not see it again for the rest of your life. Syracuse was not built for the ACC based on the decisions they made. It's not that they can't do it. It's that they've refused to do it. And I blame the university, and I blame the leadership more than anything. Because the coaches that you brought in, you've accepted mediocrity at times. Not every coach, but doing what you've done right now with this football program. 4-8, 4-8, 10-3, 4-8, 1-10, 5-7, 4-8, 6-7. That's what you've gotten. The best season that Dino had was thanks to Scott Schaefer. And Scott Schaefer got no time, and nobody can tell me why. He got 3 years. He didn't get put on any billboards. He didn't have any special anything. That man was hidden. If you didn't know Syracuse, you didn't know he was the head coach. Dino becomes the head coach. He's plastered everywhere. But never Scott. Scott was kicked out of this town, and he wanted to be here. He loved this town. You would have thought he played here. Scott wanted to be here till he died. That's how I took it when I talked to him. That's how I took the amount of love and passion that he had. And Scott Schaefer's gone on to be successful, and his coaching staff has gone on to be successful. It should tell you something about a head coach that every single season his staff changes. He's been the coach for 8 years, and I don't believe he's kept 100% of his staff one time in 8 years. Scott Schaefer's staff stayed with him, got fired with him, went down with the ship because they trusted their captain. Who trusts the captain now? Syracuse has consistently made decisions. Ego will eventually kill you. And up on the hill, they've built a castle. They've locked their doors, and they've made it difficult. And when they come out to speak with the peasants of central and upstate New York is how they treat us, what do they say? Come to us, buy our gold at 10 times the price. Come and buy our t-shirts for $35. Come and buy our hot dogs for $10. Come and buy our chicken fingers where you'll get no chicken and a lot of fries for $14. But we live in this high castle because we're better than you. We're stronger than you. We're smarter than you. We know better than you do, Syracuse. Syracuse University has detached itself so much from Syracuse, New York, that they might as well be on opposite sides of the world. Syracuse University is on an island in the middle of a state that doesn't have any islands except for New York City. We're in upstate New York. There's no island area. There's the Finger Lakes, but that's all we have. The Man in the High Castle is not on Amazon Prime. It's in Syracuse, New York.
You feel better? That was good, Daniel. You've got to feel better after that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
you got to have a little levity in a situation.
Well,
I mean, of course you're serious, and I understand what you're saying, but hey, you're busting balls, and that's good.
This is the reality, Papa Joe. I'm tired of people treating people like they don't matter and that they're above them, and the way that this university has treated so many people, to see them now look in shambles and they just keep going. It's like a person in an argument that can never say that they're wrong. They can never admit their faults. This university has had an ego that is ballooned so big that they're willing to lose every football game and pretend like it's not happening. So my best advice to Syracuse, put God first, be nice to other people, treat people the way you'd like to be treated, apologize to my city, start treating the media with some respect. and let's move forward. Because the way that I've been treated by Syracuse University, I could write a novel and it would make you throw up. The way that a man who was born here, raised here, worked here, built his company here is treated by something that thinks they're bigger than God. Well, God humbles the egos of the world. And Syracuse, y'all are getting humbled this morning. So wake up, shut up, and start doing something. Because when you take a boy who wore an S on his chest his entire life and you make me want to take it off, I haven't bought a Syracuse thing in years. Why is that? Because the way that they treat me and the way that they treat their alumni, the way that they treat people, they are transactional. When you play at Syracuse, they use you. The moment you graduate from Syracuse, they don't care about you anymore. Ask Rob Drummond. Ask Tim Green. Ask Scott Schwades. Ask Marvin Graves. Ask Joe Morris. They don't care. Once you graduate from Syracuse, you have no value to them anymore. And that, to me, is disgusting. If you treat people like they're transactions, you treat people like an ATM, that comes back. That'll always come back. Because the ATM ain't paying anymore. Syracuse can't keep going back to the well saying, buy tickets, buy tickets, buy tickets. You treat people like crap, you disrespect them all the time, you raise their prices, and you put crap on the field. Why in the hell would they want to do anything on their Saturday that involves you? It's like being in a bad relationship and somebody cheats on you 15 times and they're about to do it a 16th time because you've stayed the first 15 times. Well, Syracuse fans, I will say this. If you don't show up, I get it this time. There's other times where I didn't get it. There's other times where I didn't appreciate it. But if you leave that dome empty, they probably still won't listen to you. But at least you'll save your money and save your time and save yourself from being disrespected for no reason. I don't want to see this anymore. I'm tired. I've been the positive guy. I have. And I'm still positive. I love the players. I love those guys. I want them all to make the NFL. I love them and I respect them. They work their tails off. Coach Hicks, that man is incredible. And I've had the opportunity. Mike Lynch, the guys that I've gotten to talk to and spend time with, I appreciate. And to the people that lie to my face, you know who you are. But guess what? Stop playing God. Because God always humbles. Always humbles. And my annoying moment of the week this week is you just went on national television and told the ACC why they should kick you out of the conference. Are you proud of yourselves? Because that wasn't a football game. That was not a team that fought tooth and nail and just so happened to lose. I'm fine with Syracuse losing every game if they are fighting like hell. That was not a fight. That was a mercy rule. That was a let's end the game at halftime. That's what that was. And I'm not here to watch Pee-wee football anymore. And I'm definitely not here to watch mediocrity. And I'm not going to listen to somebody say that they're right. They've never been wrong. They never will be wrong. Syracuse needs to hold a press conference this week. They need to apologize to the community, to the media, to the football program, to the student athletes whose careers will never happen again. And they need to right this ship. But in order to do that, you have to have people put their ego aside, stop thinking that they're the most important person in the room, and stop thinking that just because they're rich, they can do what they want. If you want to change the world, you change the world with being humble, empathetic, kind, compassionate, and an open heart. You don't change the world in a high castle. So change your attitude, change the game, stop doing this to us. I am a Syracuse native. I can say whatever the hell I want. That university is a buildings in my city, but this is still my city. And as long as this is my city, which it will be my entire life and then some, respect my city or get the hell out. If you don't know how to respect Syracuse, you don't belong here. That's how I look at it. And there are so many alumni that have come onto my broadcast and talked to me about the heartbreak that they have had when they've gone back to visit a university that doesn't love them anymore. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. And I'm going to keep my mouth open because God taught me to stand up to bullies. He didn't teach me to be complicit and keep my mouth shut. If you don't stand up to a bully, you're saying that what the bully's doing is okay. And it's not okay. So you want to know why Syracuse University is in shambles right now? Ask the chancellor. Ask the athletic director. Ask the people that are in the powers that be. Ask them what's going on. It's not the tight end. It's not the running back. It's not the offensive lineman. This is a systematic thing. It happened over a series of years. It's like they want to burn this thing to the ground. So, I don't know what the answer is, folks. I got a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. But I guess the best thing I can tell you is, until they have people in power that care, and until they treat people with respect, even when Syracuse is successful, they're not successful. Because who is really truly successful when you treat people like they don't matter and like they're the scum on the bottom of your shoe? The annoying moment of the week is clear. Do something better. Be better. And I always spin it to a positive. So the way I want to end the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. I love you players. I love the past players, the current players, the future players. I respect you. I am always in your corner. You guys know that. I didn't say a bad word about a single player this morning. I know you guys are fighting. God bless you all. To the coaches, I don't know what the hell happened last night. That was one of the worst games I've seen in my life. But I know y'all are working, and Coach Beck and Rocky Long and Dino and so on and so forth. You guys got to have a come to Jesus moment, kind of figure things out, rework the wheel. Don't be stubborn would be my advice to you. But Papa Joe knows it. Everybody that truly knows me knows it. That lowercase u university has been really, really evil. And they need to change their ways. So that's all I got for you folks. I'm not going to support mediocrity, and I'm not going to support evil. So they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out quick. I've been nice. I've been kind. But if I told you the way that they treated me or the way they've treated some of their alumni, you might never buy a ticket again, which is why I haven't said it, because I don't want you to punish the program. So with that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. PJ and I will come back in lead. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, and we'll talk about Major League Baseball's postseason, what we've learned, how it's evolved, who's delivered on some promises to themselves, and who's been able to ad-lib. Let me give you a little hint. The one that's done that all? Arizona. Learn, you've learned about them. Evolve, they have. Ad-lib, they will, and they've delivered, and they're in the World Series. The Rangers have done it too, and the games start today. We'll talk about the World Series right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it, first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you, hanging out where sports meets that thing called life, and appreciate you being with us every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Good to be back in the studios with you, hanging out. And we're here with Papa Joe as well. PJ joining me for our trio of signature segments that happen every single Friday. The annoying moment of the week, which we just did. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. And also the top dog of the week. So bringing PJ into the conversation, we're going to go to lead. And PJ and I are going to talk about this for a second as we get into some postseason talk in Major League Baseball. My topic for lead today, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Chick-fil-A Cicero closed for refurbishment. Chick-fil-A Clay is open for you on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Make sure you make your way out there today. Get some sweet tea, as well as their awesome shakes, their chicken sandwiches, and more than anything, go out there and be treated well by people who truly are different. And you get to hear their stories and what they're about. It's not just saying my pleasure. It's not just being kind when you come through the drive-thru because they want your money. Chick-fil-A and Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, the people that they hire are just beautiful souls. And I've learned so much from every single one of them. And you can watch all of the episodes of The Light Between Us by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Please check those out. On a rainy day, it's a great message. On a sunny day, it's a great message. So make sure you check out the stories of these wonderful people. The topic for today is outside noise belongs outside. And by definition, that's what I mean. Outside noise, people worry about it all the time, right? Someone's talking bad about me, and what they say about me, I'm going to start to believe it because they said it. Outside noise, when somebody's trying to bring you down. Well, the Arizona Diamondbacks have dealt with outside noise this entire time, and I, as a Diamondbacks fan since 1998, what up to my team, I have been dealing with the outside noise. I dealt with the outside noise when they won the World Series in 2001. People making fun of me all the way to the World Series, and they won the World Series, and everybody shut up and pretended like I wasn't a fan. And I said, wait a minute, I'm going to take your abuse for all these weeks, and then you're not going to shake my hand when they win? Absolutely not. Unacceptable. Well, the Diamondbacks, this time around, advancing to their second World Series ever, 22 years later, there's still people out here with that outside noise. So, Papa Joe, how do you deal with outside noise? People have said things about you, said things about me, said things about the Diamondbacks, said things about everybody. There's always a peanut gallery. What's your advice to dealing with a peanut gallery?
Oh, you just gotta prove them wrong. However long it takes to do that. Certainly, the Diamondbacks are a good story this year. I have a complete breakdown here pretty soon when we start into the series. A lot of times when I was in business and I was really pooped on, I would I just turn my cheek and just keep going. When I stay on it, I'm very laser focused. I don't vary to the left. I don't vary to the right, up or down. I'm right on it, right on point. And I found that way to be very successful because I completed projects and topics that I didn't think I could. at that particular time. So whatever's happening, and you believe in what you're saying and doing, then you put yourself in another gear. That's all. It's like Tyreek Hill taking a pass across the middle from Tua. Sure, it's at the 50-yard line. There's three guys around him, but boom, he's off and he's gone. So that's the way I look at things like that. I want to stay focused, and I am labor focused when it comes to something that I believe in.
Yeah, and like you said, when you have the outside noise, your response is to stay laser focused. What I love that people say, I've heard some people say it is, I'm not concerned about proving them wrong. I'm concerned about proving myself right. And that's how I've always lived my life, whether or not I've thought of it in exactly those words. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving me right. And in doing that, this Diamondbacks team has had an incredible ride. I am so very, very proud of them. And this has been an awesome, awesome moment for them. And it's not done. This whole notion of just be happy to be there has been exhausting. Just be happy to be there, right? And I love what Terry Lavello, the manager of the Diamondbacks, said. He said, we didn't come across the country to get our you-know-what beat. That's not why we're here. We didn't come across the country to get our butt beat. And the way that they've played, people want to make excuses, Oh, the Phillies crapped out. Oh, the Phillies bats got quiet. Oh, the Dodgers were tired. Oh, this person stubbed their toe. Come on, guys and ladies. Let's be real about this. Give a team their flowers when they win. Stop saying the Diamondbacks won because of the Dodgers, blah, blah, blah. The Diamondbacks won because of the Phillies. The Diamondbacks won because of the Brewers did this, that, and the Diamondbacks won because they were the better team. They were the better team. I don't care how many wins another team had. You got 100 wins in a season? Congratulations. Well, what does 100 wins give you if the Dodgers lose in their series? That's what some people wanted to know. They win 100 games and they're out, and it's because they had to wait. That's not fair to a 100-win team. Oh, I'm going to tell you what reality is. Fair is that when you win more games than everybody else, you get a better seed. The Dodgers didn't have to play in the first round. They automatically advanced. So don't talk to me about the fact that they sat too long. They got to advance. The Diamondbacks had to fight to advance. And every time somebody said, well, the Dodgers lost the series because they had to sit too long, my rebuttal was the Diamondbacks had to play. They didn't get any time off. Their season ended. Then they played a series. Then they played a series. They just finished this series, and now the World Series starts tonight. So I can argue the other side of it. The Diamondbacks haven't had a break. When everybody says Dodgers had a break too long. Diamondbacks haven't had one. Diamondbacks been playing baseball since March. Okay? They haven't stopped. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, this is what I want to tell you about outside noise. It belongs outside. And the thing that I've learned in 38 years of being alive is to embrace it. Embrace the chaos, like the Diamondbacks say. Because the Diamondbacks have been hated, disrespected, ignored, and pushed to the side the entire time. So don't stop now, folks. Don't stop now. If you wanted to keep saying the Diamondbacks don't deserve it, they suck, they're the worst team, blah, 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 keep talking, keep saying it. Because it has been nothing to the Diamondbacks. If anything in life should be apparent to you this morning from what the Diamondbacks have done, it's that when people talk badly about you, say things, do things, whatever, that the Diamondbacks should be an example of. No matter what anybody says, it matters what you do. No matter what anybody does, it matters what you do, what you choose. People have been speaking for the Diamondbacks this entire playoff. And the Diamondbacks have continued to believe in themselves. They have never quit. They've never failed themselves. And even if they lost somewhere along the way, I can tell from the outside looking in that this team is proud. They're happy to be together. They're having fun. They're chasing each other in the outfield when the final run comes in. This Arizona Diamondbacks team has been counted out. So don't stop now. Keep counting them out. Because to me, it's part of the story. And outside noise sucks. It hates, you don't like hearing people talk bad about you. But if the Diamondbacks can teach you anything this morning, folks, or anytime, it's that the outside noise really doesn't mean a darn thing, because it hasn't affected a single bat, a single pitch, a single defensive play. The Arizona Diamondbacks have won with all of the hate, with all of the negativity, and with all of the predictions. They've still won. So if that can help you in your life to know that you can do and be whatever you want to be, no matter what anybody says or does, remember that the Diamondbacks are an example that outside noise stays outside, and how you feel about each other in the bullpen, in the locker room, on the practice field, on the field of play, and in the dugout is all that matters. The Arizona Diamondbacks got here because they love each other, not because somebody predicted it.
You're supposed to remain neutral.
I am neutral. What did I say? I said they made it here despite everybody's hate for them. The Rangers didn't have this much hate. The Rangers didn't have this much negativity. The Rangers didn't have this much abuse. The Rangers are on one side, people are like, oh, the Rangers are there. Yeah, they're supposed to be there. Oh, the Diamondbacks, oh, they're the little brother of the Major League Baseball. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the Arizona Diamondbacks have made it this far, no matter what anybody said. The Rangers didn't have to field the abuse that the Diamondbacks have taken. The Rangers had a road where people were predicting them, positive toward them. Not everybody, but you got to admit, PJ, the Texas Rangers didn't have people thinking that they were unworthy as they advanced through the postseason.
All right, both teams did not win their divisions.
Right.
So right there's a symbiotic relationship between both of those teams right now. Arizona is not any less of a team because they didn't win their division, and the Rangers somehow lost to Houston during the regular season and lost to them again. So both teams are, frankly, quite equal when it comes to that. Now, when you get down to nuts and bolts, obviously it favors the Rangers much more than the Diamondbacks. And I can get into those stats in a minute. But what I want to tell you is that, and you've been through baseball now, that I'm glad that I could help you along the last several years with baseball, is that records don't matter at this time of the year. You can throw all those records out. You can throw the Dodgers out. You can throw Milwaukee out, all of these things. It doesn't matter anymore. What happens is after 190 games, these two teams are playing for the World Series. And it's okay. I don't. It's not the best World Series. Let's put it that way, because the best teams, frankly, didn't play their best for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. The Dodgers choked. So did Atlanta. They choked. Houston choked. These guys do that. I mean, they're put into situations and they forget how they're supposed to play. So they didn't do it. And if there's a team that takes advantage of it, then they do, and that's what Arizona did. I'm happy for them. The only problem I have is when I get in statistics is what's going to happen next. Now, there's a quote that I like to read from Billy Beane, who was featured in the movie Moneyball. Remember Moneyball?
I do.
Okay. Billy Beane quoted, he says, "My poop doesn't work in playoffs. My job is to get to the playoffs. What happens next is friggin' luck." Yeah. That's it right there in a nutshell. Now, the Rangers are a far better team than Arizona based on statistics. Does that mean Arizona can't win? Of course not. Yeah. We've got to play the game. Like the Boomer said 20 years ago, that's why they play the game. You got to play the game. Texas is 165 plus in run differential this year. Diamondbacks minus 15. Again, does that mean that the Diamondbacks are a lesser team? Probably in some way, but not now, because you can throw the records out the window. You just got to go with what you got. Now, when you look at the Texas Rangers, their lineup and their pitching against Zonas, pitching and hitting, there are some areas of concern for me when it comes to a team like Arizona. Now, in saying this, I want you to be clear that I am neutral. I don't play these kind of games unless it's the Florida Gators. Then you've got a real problem with me. You got Arizona finally has a chance. Zach Gallen has finally got a chance to redeem himself. Now, this kid was lights out for the year, for the most part, for the year. Had a decent ERA, won 17 games. He was the ace of Zona, and still is the ace of Zona, with Merrill Kelly backing him up. Gallen has a chance to turn the tide. He has a chance to actually dominate a game and put the Zona up 1-0. Let me be clear about that.
Yeah.
He has to win the first game. Merrill Kelly's not going to win this game, the next game. Gallen has got to perform. Now, if Zona's going to Texas for 2 games, it's imperative, based on all my handicapping and stuff over the years, decades of this, they have to win one of the games. They have to split in Texas. If they split in Texas, then they get a day off, and they come to Arizona. Maybe they'll throw that fifth kit for a thing, but Gallen will come back again, maybe in game 4. So the pressure's on this kid, but he can handle it because he's a good pitcher. And he beat Texas once during the year, only giving up six innings, 5 hits, 1 run. So he beat him once. He's the kind of pitcher that can take over in a short series, and he needs to do that. Now, speaking with the offense of Arizona, they live and die with the top of their order. At Corbin Carvel, who is the next superstar in our game, absolutely fantastic talent, does it all. Speed, hits for power, got a good arm, he does it all. Kettle Marte backs him up, batting second. Those guys can set the table for the rest of the team. The rest of the team can hit fairly well. Not as well as Texas, obviously, and I'll get to them in a minute. But if Zach Gallen's got to play, he's got to pitch well. Corbin Carvel and Kettle Marte have got to set the tables. When you get to Texas, it's no doubt that their explosive offense is going to be a key to this World Series. That's why I insist that you realize that Zach Gallen has got to win the first game. You're going to be facing Jordan Montgomery, who was lights out so far in the playoffs. Nathan Eovaldi, lights out. Those guys are tough hitters. Texas, 1 through 9, has tough outs. Adolis Garcia led the league in RBIs. You got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. They set the table. They have 20 RBIs in 12 games. Semien, unfortunately, got shut down during the playoffs. Whether he choked, I'm not going to say. He was 2 for 17, but he has to wake up. So when you put Texas's explosive lineup, where they can 1 through 9 are tough outs, you got a tough task. Now the manager of Zona is not afraid to go to his bullpen. As a matter of fact, I admire him for doing that.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, you probably wouldn't. I wouldn't say that because I'm actually for a starter that will go 6 innings, and give up a few runs, but at least pitch 6 innings. He's not going to be. He's going to be right there with Gallen. Gallen knows what he's got to do. He doesn't need to be told by anyone. However, if he's grinding, throwing a lot of pitchers, maybe giving up a run or two, Zona will go right to the bullpen and keep it going. If he has to pitch 6 pitchers in 6 innings, he'll do it. So on the other side, Texas doesn't have that kind of closer. They got a good closer, Jose Leclerc. He's their closer, but Arizona has a good team because he's afraid. Hey, get him out, I'm bringing another guy in, and so on and so on and so on. Arizona is a grinding team. They beat Craig Kimbrell, who is one of the best relievers in baseball. They beat him twice in Philly. Now, Texas, on the other hand, has got an ace in a hole. If we go through what I've been saying, and the teams are playing and Zach Gallen is doing this, and then, Adolis Garcia is hitting home runs and everything else. There's one person that I want to use as a wild card. You probably heard me say this before, and I will say it again. Max Scherzer pitches for Texas. Max Scherzer is a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Max Scherzer will be a Hall of Famer in 5 years if he retires. Max Scherzer is the wild card I see for Texas right here. Scherzer's probably going to have to throw the third game. That's Montgomery, Jordan, and Anthony Valdi will be there the first 2 games. If they falter, they'll bring their bullpen in too, which is not as good as Arizona's. Now, Max Scherzer is
Oh, PJ, can you hear us? We lost PJ here for a second. He was talking about Max Scherzer. Let's see if we can figure this out here. We lost him here for a second, but we will continue the conversation on the Diamondbacks and the Rangers on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora right after this fast break.
Did you lose me?
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning. We are always happy to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day and a wonderful week. So with that being said, Papa Joe and I continuing the conversation. PJ is here with me on Thursdays, but with this week covering Big East Media Day for men's basketball and ACC tip-off for men's basketball, I had the opportunity to be in New York City as well as Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's why PJ is here with me today as we pull double duty of having the annoying moment of the week, lead, top dog of the week, all happening around our conversation with Papa Joe. So I want to clarify really quick before we get back to PJ's point, and my clarification is the Diamondbacks, for the segment that we have here on the show, lead learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. The topic is outside noise belongs outside, and my statement on the Diamondbacks on why I'm so proud of them, there's a lot of reasons, but being a fan, of course, but being an impartial broadcaster, they serve to me as an example. If you don't know the Diamondbacks, you don't watch baseball, you're not a fan, you should still look at the Arizona Diamondbacks as an example of people who were told they can't, told they won't, told they're not good enough, and they didn't listen. So if you have somebody in your life, a family member, a friend, a spouse, a significant other, a neighbor, a teacher, a random stranger, somebody on social media telling you that you can't do something, or you suck at something, or you're never going to be successful, or you're ugly, you're stupid, you're not funny, whatever, I want the Diamondbacks to be an example to you that what people say about you should only go as far as the lips that they come off of. Don't let them get to you. The Diamondbacks didn't let them get to them, and look at where they are. They didn't listen to the naysayers. They didn't listen to the people who, and this should also show you that people's opinions of you have no effect on the result. Now, the Texas Rangers didn't get as much disrespect as the Diamondbacks received. However, with the Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers both being the final two teams here and playing in the World Series, this is even playing ground. These are two teams that deserve to be here, that have earned the right, I should say, to be here. They have earned it. The road that they've taken was not easy. The Diamondbacks had to beat the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Phillies. The Texas Rangers, on their end, had to defeat a Tampa Bay team that was one win under 100 victories this season. Think about that for a second. Let that marinate for a moment. The Texas Rangers, playing in the wild card like the Diamondbacks did, had to find a way to get around the Tampa Bay Rays. And after doing that, they had to beat the Orioles, who were the number one seed in the American League. Keepers of over 100 victories. Then they had to take down the Astros, a team that they've fought against all season long. Lost the Division II in the last week of the season, and then had to play them again. And it made sense they went 7 games because they've been fighting for the state of Texas all season long and then some. But I want to let people know something. Because PJ said throw the records out, and I agree. They keep going back to Arizona only won 84 games in the regular season. Arizona only won blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. You win enough games to get into the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs, it's a new season. The Arizona Diamondbacks won 84 games in the regular season. The Texas Rangers won 90. Neither one of these teams is a 100-win team. Stop saying that 100-win teams deserve some type of special treatment in the postseason. The amount of wins you have gets you into the playoffs, and it helps seed you in the playoffs. But the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks have both been battle-tested. They have both gotten through really tough series, and they have both advanced to the best part of this nation's pastime. It is an even playing field in a world where anybody can take it. And I hope that you will give respect to both of these teams. But whether or not you give it to them, they've both kind of shown you they don't care. PJ had some thoughts on Scherzer, and I want to go back to him for that. What do you got, PJ?
Well, I'm going to mention one other point here when I was going through my handicapping and everything. Yeah, actually, before all of this started. I'm a big Brewer fan. That's my team. I mean, that's my hometown up there in Milwaukee. And I did not like the matchup, the Brewers against Arizona. I liked Arizona in that matchup. That's hard for me to say because it's like me saying the Gators won't win. But yeah. Milwaukee, to me, didn't match up well with them on paper. And I was right. Now, was LA a better team? Yes. Is Philadelphia a better team? Yes. Did they win? No. I was wrong on 2 and right on 1. Now, when you go back to Texas, Texas didn't figure because they couldn't stay up with Houston. It doesn't matter. When they played a 7-game series, it was absolutely balls out, great fun. It was great to watch. I watched every pitch. I watched everything I could. Now, all right, I'll get back to my wild card here, and no pun intended. And the wild card in this series is Max Scherzer. You've heard me talk about him before. He's a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. He's a future Hall of Famer. 39 years old. I don't care how old he is. He's still got a mid to upper 90s fastball. Great breaking ball. Great changeup. He can make a lot of art. Scherzer, to me, is a wild card in this series. Now, I don't know if people heard me say about what Zach Gallen has to do to win the first game, or even Merrill Kelly. One of those guys has got to win the first game. You can't go back to Arizona down 2-0. It ain't going to work. If you split 2 games, everything's equal again. And probably your big man wins. If Zach Gallen can do it, he can do it because he beat Texas once already this year. Max Scherzer is the wild card here. They'll probably throw Max Scherzer after Montgomery Jordan and Nathan Eovaldi. Scherzer will pitch the third game. Now, who comes back for Arizona? Don't know. They pitch by committee. Other than Corbin or Gallen and Kelly, who's to know? His manager plays some funky games sometimes. Doesn't manage it. He likes to pitch a lot of pitchers. So what? If he throws 7 pitchers against Texas, it gives Texas 7 times to look at a pitcher to try to hit. Kamp has been doing that for 5 years, and it seems to work for them. So, with that being said, Scherzer's my wild card. I went through everything about the 2 teams. The record doesn't matter. Texas is a plus 165 in runs differential compared to Arizona's minus 15. Does that make any difference here? Probably not. However, if Texas wins both of those games in Texas, things are going to look mighty different to Arizona when you go watch them and play. Now, if Arizona splits with Texas in Texas, and they go back to Arizona, maybe win 2 out of 3 there, they're almost going to win the World Series. It can happen. I told you what I thought about both teams and how they're good in both areas. Just a review again, Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte have got to lead. They got to steal bases and hit runs. Corbin Carroll is a wonderful player. He reminds me of Bobby Witt Jr. from the Kansas City Royals. A player with immense upside. And hopefully he'll be with Arizona for quite a long time. So Texas has their 1 through 9 tough outs. Adolis Garcia, Marcus Seaman, Corey Seager, who is still my favorite for the MVP of the American League. I know I'm not going to win that because everyone seems to think that the pitcher for Ohtani is going to win it based on half a year. I don't like that. You've heard me say that too. Now, to prove my point, Seager is killing it in this playoffs. He's not killing it, but I tell you, if you're Zach Gallen, and you got a 2-1 lead, and there's men on base, and you see Corey Seager come to plate, not going to make Zach Gallen very, very comfortable at all. As a matter of fact, they'll probably walk him on 4 pitches. So Seager, to me, is the key. Adolis Garcia drives in a ton of runs. He had 20 RBIs in 12 games. And my closer, or my wild card is Max Scherzer. So let's see what happens after the first couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, again, I appreciate your points there. You got bats on both sides. You have pitching on both sides. The thing that isn't spoken about enough, and I've continued to talk about this, is the fact that the Arizona Diamondbacks have played really good defense. They played really good defense. And they've just made really good plays. And I've seen good plays throughout. There's good defensive plays by the Phillies. Trey Turner, catching a ball over his shoulder, sliding on the ground was insane. It was like a Harlem Globetrotter of baseball. And, I don't think we talk, people talk about the bats and the bats and the bats and the pitching, but they don't always talk about the defense in the field. And the Arizona Diamondbacks from the first series against the Brewers showed me their really strong defense. I love that Evan Longoria is on the team because I've covered Tampa. And, and then you talk about Seager on the other side, and that Seager, very well could be the American League MVP, if not for a guy named Shohei Ohtani. And so maybe Seager isn't on the minds of everybody, but he should be. People should be paying attention to what he's done. And the Texas Rangers, again, I mean, they have made this such a wonderful season for themselves. I mean, honestly, they were the 5 seed in the postseason in the American League. Yet, I don't feel that way about them. And I don't think they were treated that way. And that was my whole point with Arizona. Arizona was treated like, just be happy to be here, a little pat on the head. The Texas Rangers, to some people, were the number 1 seed in the American League. Once they got into the postseason, like we were talking about, once you get into the postseason, you're in and it's a new season. The Texas Rangers, my goodness, I didn't pick them to win their series against Tampa. I thought Tampa was going to be able to get a couple in that short series. You and I talked about it. A lot of people, I think everybody that was on my show that picked Tampa. And so you see Texas come out of that. That was no small feat. That's why I bring it up. It was no small feat to beat Tampa in Tampa. And then to see the Texas Rangers go and play Baltimore, the top team in the American League. I mean, keep in mind, folks, Baltimore's record this season was insane. And I was concerned for Baltimore that it's like, okay, they're the number 1 seed, but what are they going to, can they stay strong throughout this thing, right? Will the moment get to them? Will they look like a deer in headlights, or will they make it through? I wanted Baltimore to continue to push forward because I was happy for them. This team has had good moments, and then they end up at the bottom of the American League East. This season, that didn't happen. They had the second best record in all of Major League Baseball in 30 franchises. And the Texas Rangers beat them without hardly burping. 101 wins Baltimore had. Texas took them out. The Braves had 104, and they got taken out by the Phillies. Then the Phillies go and play the Arizona Diamondbacks, and all I hear is Phillies, 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 Phillies. Oh, you guys should just be happy to be there. You should just be happy to be there. The Phillies are too much. The Phillies got this. The Phillies got that. The Phillies, 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 Phillies. But they still got to play the game, like PJ said. And the Diamondbacks won. Not because the Phillies were bad. Not because the Phillies had a bad Philly cheesesteak the night before. But because Arizona was better. Give them their flowers. The Houston Astros were reigning champions of Major League Baseball. Reigning World Series champs. Dusty Baker. Even if you don't like Houston, I feel like you still got to cheer for Dusty Baker. And we see their series against Houston, this Texas Rangers team, go 7. These teams have been fighting tooth and nail with each other all year long, like I said, for the rights to the NL West. Then it was the rights to the World Series. And I believe in the series between the Rangers and the Astros, the road team won every game. The road team won every game. The home teams weren't winning. The road team was winning every game. How crazy is that, folks? And when we see this, and you see the way that this series went down, the Texas Rangers had to run through a gamut. The Arizona Diamondbacks had to run through a gamut. Both of these teams are battle-tested. And now what's ahead of them is a 7-game series. If it goes 7, you got to get to 4. But they are playing at this point now with nobody else beyond this. And all that I ask of both of these teams is don't let the moment get to you. Don't let the moment be too big for you. Don't listen to what anybody says about you, good, bad, or indifferent. Just know who you are and be who you are. I want to see a fantastic series. I am proud of both of these teams. I am elated as a Diamondbacks fan. And as a broadcaster, I respect the Rangers and the Diamondbacks equally because they both had to fight out of the wild card to get here. There's no number 1 seeds. There's no number 2 seeds. There's just the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I think we're going to have ourselves a beautiful culmination of the postseason. And I can't wait to see it. And I also can't believe that it starts tonight, October 27th.
That's right. It is exciting. It's going to be a fun time. All you've heard me say this many times is that you win on pitching and defense, especially in a short series. Now, both of these teams have good, not great defense, but good defense. They don't make a lot of errors. Arizona doesn't beat themselves. Texas just has to score 1 million runs to win. But pitching and defense, if Arizona's pitching holds up against the vaunted attack of Texas, they'll win. And they'll win because of pitching and defense. That's it, bud.
Yeah, and we look at this. I want to look at this really quick here. Stolen bases this season. The Cincinnati Reds led the entire Major League Baseball in stolen bases. The Arizona Diamondbacks right behind them. The Arizona Diamondbacks, I think at this point, have over 170, if not 180 stolen bases total this season, which has been incredible. On the other side of it, the team with the least stolen bases in the regular season, the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers had stolen 79 bases this season. So just to kind of put everything, actually, you know what? It might actually be the Giants were less than that. They might only go as far on this graphic as the Rangers. So one of the teams that's stolen the least amount of bases, the Texas Rangers. The Arizona Diamondbacks have stolen almost 100 bases more this season than the Texas Rangers. Almost 100 more than Texas. That's another thing to look at. The fact that Arizona is systematic and advantageous. And they were playing a chess game against the Phillies in that last game, in Game 7. They were playing a chess game, and they won that chess game. So Texas, which is interesting because I was at Texas Live in July, which had the American Athletic Football Media Days for the first time with the 6 incoming schools. And the Texas Rangers Arena is literally right behind it. And this past January, I was at the Cotton Bowl, which is played in the Cowboys Stadium. And that's right down the road from the Texas Rangers Arena. So to know that everything that I was down there while the season was going on, seeing Texas's digs, and to know that that's where thousands of people will be tonight is pretty cool and pretty surreal and pretty interesting. By the way, for those of you that are going down to Arlington, Texas to see the Rangers and the Diamondbacks in the World Series, go to Hurtado. Go to Hurtado. Make sure you go there. It's maybe 15 minutes away from the stadium. Go to Hurtado. They have the best, and I say the best, some of the best Hispanic food I've had in my entire life, and they have the best tostada I've ever eaten. And I got to shout out Jared Mosley, the athletics director at North Texas, for bringing me over there. So if you're down in Texas for the games with the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, or in general in Arlington, go to Hurtado. They're not a sponsor of the show. I've just got to shout them out for the incredible food that they have. So I'd love for them to be a partner in the show for sure. So PJ, any final notes on baseball before we jump to football?
It's an interesting stat you brought up on stolen bases. It probably tells you a little bit more about Arizona's team than Texas's team. If you're stealing that many bases, that means that the base runners are getting in run scoring position. Whether they steal second or third, a single drives them home, or a sacrifice fly drives them home. That's the kind of ball. That's the kind of grinding baseball that Arizona plays. If they can steal bases and get timely hitting, they get the runs. Now, on the other side, there's no such thing as that. I mean, let's face it, these guys, except for Seager, and Simeon both steal bases, but not as many as Arizona had. I mean, they're not even anywhere close. But their timely hitting is hitting doubles and triples and home runs to break the drive-in runs. All right, let me reiterate now. I don't want people to think this is an easy task. Arizona has to split in Texas, and Zach Gallen has to win the first game. Talk about pressure.
Yeah, and it all starts tonight, October 27th. Diamondbacks continue to be counted out. I'm sure that they expect nothing less from the world today, and they'll continue to be who they are. The Texas Rangers had some push behind them, some positivity in the public, and the Texas Rangers have come through. So two teams coming here in different kind of treatment, but in the same way through the wild card series to get to where they are today. And in true treatment fashion, I put a poll up on our X, the former Twitter, @CallDT. That's CALLDT. Who will win the 2023 World Series? And in true treatment fashion, to go along with the theme that I said today, 100% of you that have voted have picked the Rangers, and nobody's picked the Diamondbacks. So continue to be that way. That's what I said. Keep it going. It hasn't stopped the Diamondbacks at this point. I think it's a part of the story. So let it continue to be part of the story to count them out. Rangers, Diamondbacks, it all starts in Arlington tonight at 8:03 p.m. Eastern Time. And I want to make sure that I let you know that you can watch this game. I believe it's going to be, you can listen to it on ESPN Radio, I think. On ESPN Radio, and I want to just double check and make sure that I'm not leading you to the wrong place. But they've been carrying the game, so let's see here. So ESPN Radio will have national coverage of the World Series, and you can watch it on television on Fox. So Fox and ESPN will both have rights to this. The telecast will be on Fox, and the radio audiocast will be on ESPN. Arizona at Texas, Game 1 of the World Series tonight, Friday, October 27th at 8:03 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm excited. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, PJ and I are going to shift gears to football. We're going to take a look back at college football Week 8 and see how our picks did. Then we'll be making our selections for Week 9. Then PJ and I will jump to the NFL, take a look at how our picks squared up this past week in Week 7, and we'll be making our Week 8 picks in the NFL, as well as talking about the Jaguars, who won twice on my birthday week. That's all coming up right after this, where sports meets life, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thanks for being here with us.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. GG Cards and Breaks is your place to go to for your sports card collecting needs. They have everything for you. They have football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, AEW, and so much more. They also have Pokemon and the new Disney Lorcana. You can go out to GG Cards and Breaks today on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Avenue. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. GG Cards and Breaks is the perfect place for you to start your sports card collecting hobby and the perfect place to continue it. GG Cards and Breaks, totally different in the way that they bring about their customer service as well as their products and everything that they offer to us. You got to go in every week, if not every other day, because they're constantly getting product in, they're buying stuff, they're selling stuff, they're moving stuff around, they're unboxing stuff, they're finding good stuff to put in the cases. They have singles, they have graded cards, and like I said, they have a ton of different sports packs and boxes for your sports, so you never know what you're going to get at GG Cards and Breaks. And we've done some videos, and there's been a run on boxes and tins in there, so we talk about something on a Monday, that stuff might be gone by Wednesday. So make sure you get out to GG Cards and Breaks today, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. My choice for sports card shop. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, PJ and I are in the broadcast. We've brought you the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. And Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Chick-fil-A Cicero still closed for refurbishment. Chick-fil-A Clay open on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. So head out there today and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way. It's time for us to do our top dog of the week, but we'll be doing that a little bit later than our normal 10 a.m. as we have Papa Joe in with us. We're merging the Thursday and Friday wake-up calls this week only as we connect everything together due to travel this week for me. So PJ and I are going to jump into our picks, and then we'll get into the top dog of the week. Here are our picks for Week 8 in college football. They're up on your screen on Facebook.com and on YouTube.com, both /wakeupcalldt. They're also going to be, we're here on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So I'll be telling these to you for those of you that are listening in internet streaming worldwide radio. Happy to bring this to you as well. And thank you so much for listening in. We thank you so incredibly much for that. So with that being said, let's take a look at how PJ and I fared in Week 8 of college football for the 2023-24 season. We both picked Oklahoma State to win their game this past week. So looking back on Oklahoma State and where they stacked up against everything, I want to bring these in here really quick. So Oklahoma State, they got their victory. Let's see here. Got their victory against West Virginia 48-34. So PJ and I can go ahead and circle that one. Oklahoma defeated UCF barely as they came back. Dylan Gabriel playing up against his old team. He was the UCF quarterback and he didn't get respect. Then he changed jerseys to Oklahoma and all of a sudden he was a good quarterback. What that really tells me is that people need to get to know him ahead of time because he didn't change who he was when he came to Oklahoma. UCF just doesn't get the respect that they deserve. In this game, hopefully they got some respect around the world as they pushed Oklahoma in a game that looked out of reach. They only lost the game by 2 points. So shout out to UCF for that. So we got those right. Oklahoma did win that game 31-29. Then we take a look at how Air Force fared in their matchup. Air Force going up in their game, and the Air Force in the matchup that we had for them were going to play at Navy, and they defeated Navy in a low-scoring game 17-6. PJ picked Air Force. I thought Navy could maybe get them. Air Force stays one of the undefeated teams in the nation. Shout out to them for that. But then we also went with the Arkansas game and pulling up Arkansas to see how they fared in this matchup. They had Arkansas went up against Mississippi State in a terribly low-scoring game. This was like a Sunday night football game in the NFL this season. Mississippi State won 7-3, so PJ and I got that one wrong. God bless to Mike Leach in heaven. So, got that one wrong. Oregon, the Oregon Ducks, the keepers of more jersey combinations than you can count, with Phil Knight, the creator of Nike, having come from the University of Oregon. They win their game over Washington State, so PJ and I got that one correct. I'll go ahead and circle that. The only 10 I see, Tennessee and Alabama. Alabama wins that game by 14. PJ and I picked Tennessee, so we got that one wrong. On the road, North Carolina, in their matchup, we had the North Carolina Tar Heels pulling off a victory, and Virginia, who just trounced Syracuse, also beat North Carolina. So, or pardon me, that was Virginia Tech. My fault on that. Virginia Tech trounced Syracuse. Virginia, the Cavaliers, beat North Carolina. I just committed like a giant sin in the state of Virginia. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was looking at it. I was thinking something in my head. My bad. Virginia Cavaliers defeat North Carolina. Please forgive me. I like Tony Elliott. Love his faith in God. So please accept my sincerest apologies. Ole Miss, Auburn. Ole Miss, the Lane Train pulls in Auburn and comes out with a victory. No War Eagle in that one. Lane Train gets it. PJ and I get it too. LS motherfucking U with Brian Kelly. We're looking at the LSU Tigers and how they fared in their most recent game. The LSU Tigers defeated Army 62-0. So at least somebody lost a little bit worse than Syracuse. USC in their matchup here. We'll take a look at USC. They fell to Utah 34-32. Once again, Utah plays spoiler to USC. They've done it to Oregon. They've done it to Stanford. Utah just doesn't quit. They're not going to be able to do it in the future, though, because there's not going to be a Pac-12. So, really sad. But Utah has been the spoiler of the last 3 seasons to many teams. They just did it to USC. PJ and I got that one wrong. Clemson went up against Miami in what was a recent rematch of an ACC championship. Miami wins the game in overtime, 28-20 in 2 overtimes. Guess who chose Miami? Your boy did. PJ took Clemson. I picked Miami. Miami comes through. Clemson has 3 losses in the regular season for the first time in forever, ever. So, looking at Florida State right now, what'd you say? Yeah, PJ giving us a little bit of humor this morning as people want to get rid of Dabo Swinney, just like they want to get rid of Nick Saban a couple of years ago after Nick Saban's won, about 67 championships. Let's go to Florida State. Florida State defeats Duke 38-20. So, when we put it all together here, PJ and I, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 5, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, 7-5. So PJ goes 7-5 this past week in his predictions. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I also go 7-5, but I get it a different way. So PJ and I go 7-5, come out of this wacky week of college football, both with a winning record. Any thoughts, PJ? I'm just happy we came out of this with a winning one.
No, I was following the Florida game, of course, and I noticed that the quarterback for Florida, Graham Mertz, who came from Wisconsin, and my bros sent me down messages saying, hey, this kid can't throw the ball. I hope he's going to throw more interceptions than he did for us. He's playing against better teams. Don't trust him. So what does he do? He throws for 423 yards and wins a really, really, really tough game. And, of course, now it's the biggest game of the year for Florida, and it ain't going to be easy to get one either.
Yeah, so 7-5 on both we go. Syracuse was off, and the Go Gators were off as well. So that's how that looks in Week 8 for PJ and I. So Week 8 of college football, PJ and I both go 7-5. So let's jump into this week in college football, PJ. So we got some games to look at. College football week 9. For those of you tuning in on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We're about to go after this. Gene just asked if we could get Utah's coach. He wants Syracuse to go and get the Utah coach since Utah's beaten USC, Oregon, and Stanford and blocked them from a bunch of stuff. He now wants the Utah coach, Gene. Well, Syracuse is going to have to open up the pocketbooks, which means that the people at the top of Syracuse are going to have to stop giving themselves pay raises. So we'll see what happens here as it goes forward if Syracuse is willing to share any of the money. I love that the university claims poverty if they never sold a ticket to a game, a cheeseburger, a hot dog, a drink, or any piece of merchandise. They make over $2 billion a year just on student tuition. So
listen, I'm down one game already because I had Syracuse over Virginia Tech.
So, yeah, PJ saying that Syracuse over Virginia Tech. Let's take a look at this. College football week 9. Let's jump into the schedule. There was games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's a game today, and then there'll be a game on Saturday. I was just in Charlotte yesterday, and Gene said, so that's a no. Hey, Gene, if they're willing to pay for it, but I don't know why he'd want to leave Utah, I'll tell you that much. So, taking a look at this right now, Charlotte, where I was yesterday, they got a game tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. FAU will face off against Charlotte in Charlotte. So we'll see what goes on from here. There were games, like I said, starting back on Tuesday of this week, and now we have games going up here. First game on Saturday, we have Florida State at Wake Forest. The game's at noon Eastern Time. Florida State is on the road on ABC. Any chance Florida State loses this, PJ?
Oh, no. To me, Florida State has the best team in the nation this year. I don't care about what Alabama says or Ohio State or whatever, Michigan, whatever. Florida State is the best team in the nation, and they won't skip a beat here. This is why the transfer portal works so well. When you got like Norville, who pulled 6 or 7 players off of that portal and plugged them right into his lineup, and now you see the results. He's undefeated. He's on his way to a championship. FSU.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about this 4 years ago, and we spoke about Mike Norvell and what Mike Norvell can bring to the table. I had been around him for 4 years before he came to Florida State. You and I had the discussion about Mike Norvell and what we believed he could do with Florida State and how he could bring them back. He's done exactly that. I got FSU in this one. I'd probably pick FSU even if they still had Sam Hartman, although I think that would have been a far better game. Next game that we have up here, Kansas has already done some things here this season. They beat BYU in BYU's first season in the Big 12. They beat UCF in UCF's first season in the Big 12. And they just lost to Oklahoma State 39-32. Any chance that Kansas will defeat Oklahoma when Kansas is at home this weekend?
This is a good game. This is really a pick'em game. Kansas is at home, of course, you're correct. And there's going to be not a lot of defense played in this game either. But I do believe that Oklahoma will outscore them.
PJ going with Oklahoma. I'm going to give Oklahoma the slight edge in this one, too. I would love for this game to go to overtime. I think even if it does, Oklahoma is just going to squeak by Kansas in that situation. But I would love for this to be a close game. I think no matter what, Oklahoma is going to take the victory on the road, though. Next game that we have up here, PJ, that I want to look at, the 3-loss Clemson Tigers are going up against NC State. NC State has had an atypical season under Dave Doran. Typically, they're a team that's playing pretty strong, but guess what? They're 4-3 now too. So they're 4-3. Clemson's 4-3. NC State's 1-2 in the conference. Clemson's 2-3 in the conference. If Clemson loses to NC State, then NC State will jump them in the conference standings inside of the ACC. All of a sudden, that NC State team that you thought was out of it, just like Virginia Tech, really isn't. And if NC State wins, they'll move to 5-3 and 500 in the conference. NC State has played Clemson close for the last bunch of years. Clemson is reeling. NC State has nothing to lose. Does NC State win when Clemson comes to town in Raleigh, North Carolina?
Well, I did not see this season coming from Clemson. I sure didn't. Frankly, it's quite shocking. I mean, they did lose to some good teams. I mean, they didn't lose to a cupcake or anything. But I do believe Clemson has the talent to beat NC State despite them being at home. Your man Dabo Sweeney is going to be under the gun here. If he loses this game, hot to almighty damn, they're going to be madder than hell over there.
It must, PJ, people are a victim of, when you talk about it, victim of success, so to speak. Because if Dabo Sweeney and this team lose this game and they fall to 500, people are going to want to fire Dabo Sweeney. They probably already want to fire Dabo Sweeney. And it must be nice. It must be nice to have one bad season in the last decade. That must be nice. Syracuse is dealing with one good season in the last 20 years, and Clemson fans are losing their minds having a subpar year for the first time since Halley's Comet went across the earth and we got to watch it 70 years ago. So with that being said, I think that the season for Clemson continues. I'm picking NC State at home.
Oh, my goodness.
And Dave Doran has found a way, and Dave Doran's going up against a Clemson team that's not what they used to be. Dave Doran's got nothing to lose. He's got more life in this season, 4-3. A team that people counted out at NC State is 2 wins away from being a bowl team, and I think they're going to be 1 win away after this Saturday. Next game up, Oregon. What did I say in the last couple weeks? I said Clemson could be losing that 3rd game of the season. What'd they do? They lost their 3rd game of the season. Next game up here, Oregon at Utah. We talked about Utah playing spoiler to Oregon, playing spoiler to USC. They just beat USC. Now they're home against Oregon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Do the Utah Utes, and I still don't know what that means, do the Utah Utes take down the Oregon Ducks? Do they rip away the Quacker and silence the Ducks? What do you think, PJ?
That's good. I like that. I'm been an Oregon fan ever since they just demolished the primetime team. They just got too much speed on the field. I mean, Utah's probably going to score some points, but Oregon can score from anywhere on the field, from any number of players. And I think they may even lead the nation in total offense, somewhere around there. But anyway, they're a very dangerous team, and I like them to run the score up on Utah.
Utah already bowl eligible at 6-1. They've only lost to Oregon State 21-7. They have won all of their other games, including a game on the road at USC, 34-32. I've seen enough. I've talked about it enough. Utah plays spoiler, so I will not go through this week without giving them their flowers. The Utah Utes, I'm picking them to win at home against Oregon. Utah. Yeah. Utah 7-1? Maybe. The Utah Utes could be 7-1 after this week. Next game up, Duke, still ranked in the top 20. Louisville, ranked 18. Somehow these tickets are as low as $18 with 2 teams that have had really good seasons so far. The Duke Blue Devils, who started the season beating Clemson. The Louisville Cardinals, who started the season beating everybody. Louisville has a guy named Jawar Jordan Jr., who committed to Syracuse, came to Syracuse, and jumped in the transfer portal and went to Louisville. He is a home run hitter, and he has shown that he belongs in that type of environment, which Louisville's had for the past few seasons, despite coaching changes. The Louisville Cardinals will welcome the Blue Devils on at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Who wins when Duke and Louisville, believe it or not, are top 20 teams in the nation, which once again shows you where Syracuse is at and where they're not. The Duke Blue Devils and the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville coming off of a terrible recent history. The Duke Blue Devils being a team that if they won 4 games, fans are like, not bad. Now both of these teams are in the top 20. Syracuse is probably not even in the top 60. Who do you have, PJ? Duke at Louisville.
This is my game of the week right here. This is the one. This is a fun one to watch. I do believe Louisville's got a little bit more offense. and I think they'll probably win the game. This is a hell of a game.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. I hope y'all are watching it. 3:30 p.m. this Saturday on ESPN. PJ's going with the Louisville Cardinals, and I'm going back and forth here, but I got to give it to Louisville and Jawar Jordan Jr. I think they're going to have too much offense, even though I think Duke they've definitely, it's crazy because Mike Elko came in last year, had arguably one of the best turnarounds in college football history, brought him from obscurity to a bowl game, and he's a defensive coordinator coming from Texas A&M, yet he got the Duke Blue Devils offense to go buck wild. And he did it again this year. The team's been able to score. So it's great to see a defensive coordinator with a strong offensive team. Yet I don't think they're going to be able to score more points in Louisville. And if anybody's gone down to Louisville and played in that stadium, very difficult to play in. I got the Louisville Cardinals winning the game in what I consider to also be, in my opinion, the game of the week. Could come down to the last couple plays, could be high scoring as well. Next game we have up here, P. Jizzle, is we have the Colorado Buffaloes in prime time. Look at me, Papa Joe. Now look at him. Now look at me. Look at me, man. That's Dion. I mean, you got to watch Saturday Night Live and Kenan Thompson doing his impersonation perfectly of Deion Sanders. And sitting there and going, how many? He's like, we winning. We winning all the time. We winning all day. And he's like, well, you have 3 losses. He said, name somebody who's won more games than us. Georgia, yeah. Florida State, North Carolina, them too. Duke Blue Devils, really? Louisville, huh? So, prime time is going to, with his sunglasses indoors and his giant cowboy hat, Deion Sanders, who is acting like he's getting NIL money and he's back playing college ball again. Deion is going to UCLA, and the UCLA Bruins, believe it or not, folks, hold the phone, stop the presses. The UCLA Bruins are ranked in the nation's top 25 again. Chip Kelly, who looked like he wasn't going to be there for long, has now got the team in the top 25. They are at home. Colorado is on the road. The UCLA Bruins are 5-2, 2-2 in the conference. Colorado's 1-3 in the conference and 4-3. If Colorado wins, both teams will have the same record. PJ, what are your thoughts?
I tell you, Prime has got to be real lucky he's got his son as a quarterback. Because this kid is the real deal. He's shown guts. He's shown savvy. He's a really good quarterback. And I'm not embarrassed to say that this kid can make it into the NFL, too. I think he's that good. However, I don't think he beats UCLA. I think Chip Kelly's probably got some tricks up his sleeve for Shedeur, but the Prime really is lucky to have his son as a quarterback.
Prime time. Yeah, so who do you got here? You got UCLA?
Yeah.
So in this one, this is a difficult one for me to pick here. Prime has had some struggles against after getting that TCU win, there's been some struggles that have happened with Prime time. So it's a tough one for me. No matter what, we know he's going to be in the press conference saying, we keeping receipts. Look at me, man. What about me makes you think I care what you think about me? That's what Deion, right? That's Deion Sanders. Sunglasses, chain, big old sombrero. And he will sit there and give you a very interesting press conference probably every single time. But I'm going to go with the UCLA Bruins and Chip Kelly to get the victory at home. And this game, outside of the fact that they are playing up against coaching up against Deion Sanders, you may think that it's not. This is what I got to say about Colorado. Let me just put this out here for a second. Let me rephrase everything I was about to say. Colorado couldn't get a game on television, let alone get a game on television on prime time. But because you have prime time, you are now going to be on prime time once again, as Colorado will take on UCLA on 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Who would have thought ABC would carry a Pacific Coast Conference game, take a Pac-12 game, and put it on primetime television? That's what Deion brings to the table. Colorado is unranked. An unranked team up against a 23rd ranked team in the country gets a primetime slot on ABC. And I guess primetime can thank Clemson for that because Clemson's not getting on primetime anytime soon. North Carolina at Georgia Tech. North Carolina just lost to the Virginia Cavaliers. Georgia Tech is one win away from being 4-4. They lost to Boston College, but they defeated Miami on the road. They defeated Wake Forest on the road. Georgia Tech is not a bad team. Georgia Tech's playing at home in Atlanta, Georgia. Do they get North Carolina? Or does North Carolina find a way to get back to winning?
I think that North Carolina does. I think they're a better team, although Georgia Tech surprised a lot of people this year. But that's why they play the game. I like North Carolina.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. The ACC is wide open, folks. Better treat the ACC like a giant field in Wyoming. It is wide open. North Carolina, I'm going to go with them as well. But do not count out Georgia Tech, yet another team that is better than Syracuse in the ACC. And who would have said that over the last 3 years of Georgia Tech football? But they're better, and that should say something to you about where Syracuse is heading and where the rest of the ACC is heading. They're in two opposite directions. Next game we have up here, Ohio State, ranked number 3 in the country. Who have they played? Nobody. They have not played anybody. So, and here they are, number 3 in the country, once again. They beat Penn State. Why is Penn State ranked? Because they're in the Big Ten. Who's Penn State played? Nobody. So here we are again with Ohio State's college football playoff. Why do they even play a season? If Ohio State's going to make the college football playoff from before a game is played, why even bother having them put their guys out there that could get injured? Just have them sit and watch with popcorn like everybody else. The unfair treatment that Ohio State and the Big Ten receive is deplorable, and it happens every year right in front of your face. Ohio State is playing Wisconsin on the road. Is there any chance that your bros in Wisconsin can spoil Ohio State? Spoiler alert, by the way. Even if Ohio State loses this game, they'll find a way to put them in the college football playoff. PJ?
You're right. My bros are big Wisconsin fans, of course. The only way Wisconsin can win this game is to run the ball. And they got to run the ball to keep Ohio State off the field. I mean, Ohio State's got a good team. Let's face it. I mean, they are a good team. They may not be a great team. They're good enough to beat Wisconsin. And the only way to Wisconsin to do it is just clock management, run the ball, keep Ohio State off the field. Maybe they'll get lucky with a 3-0 lead at the halftime or something like that, but I don't think so. I just think Ohio State will eventually overwhelm them.
Braylon Allen, the running back for Wisconsin, wearing number 0, 120 carries, 704 yards this season, 5.9 yards a carry, and 8 rushing touchdowns for him. He also has 23 catches for 96 yards on the season. So he has exactly 800 yards of total offense going into this matchup. I'm going to go with Ohio State too, though. I mean, I agree with you. If Wisconsin can punch down, drag out, and run that ball, they got a shot. But I think Ohio State's going to get this victory up against yet another unranked team, which will solidify them in the top 4 for reasons unbeknownst to me, other than the fact that Ohio State gets an unfair advantage against the rest of the country every year. And folks, I say this to you because it's true. Not because I don't like Ohio State, not because I don't respect them, not because I don't think they send incredible guys to the NFL. I'm stating a true fact. If Syracuse played the same schedule as Ohio State, they wouldn't be ranked in the top 25. If many teams played Ohio State's schedule, they wouldn't be ranked in the top 25. Ohio State is set up to succeed every single year. They have more people making excuses for them than people criticizing them. And that's all I'm saying. And if you're a true Buckeye fan, you know that I'm right. That's not saying you don't have a good team. And it's not saying you can't compete. It's saying that Ohio State has an unfair advantage. And if you can't see it, well, then you must have darker glasses than Deion Sanders in a post-game press conference. Last game that I have for you, PJ, that I saved...
It better be the big one, Daniel. It better be the big one.
That I saved for you and I circled. Georgia at Florida.
Are you waiting for me to comment?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Well, obviously, this is Florida season. I do think that they have a chance, and I like the way Graham Mertz is throwing the ball. He's got some great young receivers. He got one senior receiver. It's a 5-year guy. Ricky Pearsall can pluck the ball out of the air anywhere. Very dangerous receiver. Florida's got the running attack this year or two with Travis Etienne's little brother, Trevor. Georgia is Georgia. I mean, this. I've been cogitating this for 7 days, 6 days. I've been thinking about this game, and I'm trying to find a way that Florida can win the game, and I can't, Daniel. I can't find a way that they can win the game. They have to play good defense. Yeah. They're young. They play 5 freshmen. Georgia's got another senior quarterback that Carson Beckton looks like he can throw all day. It's a very difficult time for me. I just got to go with Georgia. I mean, I hate to do it, but I just got to go with Georgia.
Yeah, you know what? Florida Gators 5-2. Again, another team that is in a better place than Syracuse, despite all of their recent blunders. The Florida Go Gators are 1 win away from going to the postseason. They are 5-2. Who would have thunk it? Billy Napier had some struggles last year. He went and got transfers in Ricky Pearsall as well as Graham Mertz, like you said. This team has found a way this season in the transfer portal and in general to win games. And at 5-2, playing at home, well, I should say playing at TIA or playing at Everbank Stadium, because that's where they are. They're playing in Jacksonville's home. Georgia at Florida. This could be an upset alert. It could be a time where Georgia might be in trouble. However, I'm going to pick those Georgia Bulldogs to show who they are. Kirby Smart to get the win, but maybe not get this win before the nation starts to respect the Gators a little bit more. I want to be on record saying I believe the Gators could win this game. In college football, we will take a quick step aside here on Wake Up Call, and we will come back with PJ and I wrapping things up with the NFL right after this, where sports meets that thing called life. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you so much for hanging out with us Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 and bonus time like today.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. it's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having a fantastic day today, and we appreciate you, as always, for being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, including for bonus time like a day like today. So, hopefully, you are jumping into your weekend with a giant smile on your face. If you're not, well, we're going to try and put a smile on your face before we finish things up. P to the Jizzle and I are here today speaking on our top dog of the week, which is going to be coming up soon. And we are looking at our NFL picks. We're going to be taking a look at the picks we made in Week 7, and then we'll be making picks for Week 8. Let's run through the gamut here. My birthday week, the Jaguars won twice. They won on Sunday and Thursday. How cool is that? So very excited about that. Let's take a look at the Week 7 in general to see how PJ and I fared in Week 7. So we both got the Jaguars game correct as they defeated New Orleans 31-24. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that one here. And then PJ and I went with the Raiders. But Chicago won with Tyler Badgett, their rookie, coming from a Shepherd College. Yeah, Shepherd College. There it is. I was like, I know that it's in my head, and I know it starts with an S. Shepherd College, PJ, bail me out there, my Jiminy Cricket. So we lose that game. Chicago wins it. Next game we had, we picked we picked Indianapolis. Cleveland won 39-38, folks, in a very weird game. If you're playing the squares, and you had scores like 5-3, 5-7, 8-9, and you're thinking, I'm never going to win with 8-9 as my numbers or 5 as my number, you probably won a ton of money this year because it's been that weird. By the way, speaking of weird, and speaking of 5-9, that's how the game ended between the Bills and the Patriots. Patriots had 29, Bills had 25. We got that one wrong too. Why? Because life makes no sense. How does New England go and play Buffalo at home in Foxborough and win the freaking game? The New England Patriots are one of the worst teams in the nation right now. The Buffalo Bills are supposed to be a team that can make it to the Super Bowl. What happened in this game? 29-25. Mac Jones just out there killing it, slinging it, and the New England Patriots get a victory. Washington loses 14-7 to the Giants. This was a week where a bunch of the teams that had one win, no win. I mean, this was the week where anything that could happen that was crazy happened. Tampa lost at home to Atlanta. PJ and I got almost every single game wrong so far except for Jacksonville. We've gotten every game, and I blame all of these teams in the NFL that were supposed to be better. What happened? Because then we picked Detroit, and Detroit lost. We might get one win this week. We might have as many wins as the Patriots had going into this past week. The Rams lost to Pittsburgh. We both picked the Rams in that one, so we got that one wrong. Seattle beat Arizona. Thank the heavens. We got one right. I was getting tired of writing X's without any O's. Denver wins their game over Green Bay. PJ picked Denver. I picked Green Bay. I don't know how the heck Denver did it. Basically, this week 7 of the NFL was the week where everything that you thought would happen, it was the opposite. Denver wins. Baltimore blows out Detroit. The Giants win. Atlanta wins. in a low-scoring game. New England wins. Cleveland wins in a shootout. Chicago wins. This wasn't one team this week where you're surprised. This was many. Kansas City won as well, so I'll circle that for us. Miami lost to Philadelphia. We got that one wrong. And San Francisco lost to Minnesota. By far the worst week that PJ and I have had. Let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. PJ went 4-9. And I went 3-10. And I blame this week on the fact that this was the week of the underdog. This was the week where the underdog was on top. Think about it. Denver. How crazy, PJ. This entire week, for the most part, was dedicated to the teams that many people didn't expect. I'm sure Vegas made a ton of money this week. 4-9, 3-10 are our records. Your thoughts?
That's terrible. Terrible. I knew that we were in trouble when I lost 3 games in a row watching the games. I said, this isn't going to be a good week. So you're right. Vegas has probably won a lot of money. But, you know, the good teams that we're watching are the ones we want to watch because they're better. Kansas City, Philadelphia, Baltimore. You know, watching Kansas City is fun. All the time is fun. Watching Kels catch a million balls is fun. Watching Taylor up there working away, that's fun too. So what can I say? I have fun.
Yeah, we had a good time, and you know what? I'm a fan of the underdog, so congratulations to all the underdogs for proving us wrong on this one. Let's do Week 8, PJ. Take a look at this right now. Thursday Night Football we can't do because it already happened, so we will be not doing that because we had to change when we broadcasted together this week, so we will not be picking that game out of respect for fairness and honesty. So we'll jump right into Sunday, October 29th. The Rams at the Cowboys. What do you have, PJ?
Rams at the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys.
PJ going with the Cowboys in this one. The Rams did not beat Pitt at home. The Cowboys are an enigma. They make no sense. Right when you think that they've caught their stride, they lose, and they lose big. Cowboys are a strange team. They're a very strange team. I don't understand why this team can't seem to be consistent. But PJ's going to pick the Cowboys in this one, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Dallas based on the fact that the Cowboys do the opposite of what you think they're going to do, and I thought they were going to lose again, so I'm going to pick them to win. Next game, Minnesota at Green Bay. PJ, what do you got?
Minnesota at Green Bay. You know, I'm still not sold on the quarterback up there, Jordan Love. Minnesota's got Kirk Cousins who can throw the ball over the world. Oh, I've been vacillating in this game too. I want to say Green Bay, but I want to say Green Bay. I'm going to stick with Green Bay. That was my original choice. You know, they're playing up there. It's a dirt field, a real bad dirt field, but I think Green Bay has it here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be definitely an interesting game based on the fact that both of these teams have had moments where you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're going to be better than I thought they were going to be. And then they have moments where you're like, what the heck happened? I mean, San Fran's lost 2 games in a row. First one to Cleveland, second one to Minnesota. Green Bay this season is 2-4. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost to the Lions, makes sense, this season. Lost to the Raiders, kind of even there. Lost to the Broncos on the road. They lost to the Falcons this year. They've only beaten the Saints and the Bears. Look on the other side of it. Minnesota started the season on a 3-game losing streak, and since then has won 3 of 4. Beating the Bears as well, beating the Niners, beating the Panthers. So they haven't really beaten any great teams except for San Fran, and we'll see if San Fran can hold or if they fall, if they were a contender or a pretender. But Minnesota's going to Green Bay, and they're going to be in Green Bay, which is hostile territory. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, PJ picked Green Bay. I'm also going to pick Green Bay being at home and Justin Jefferson being injured. So I'm going to go Green Bay. Atlanta at Tennessee. Atlanta's been winning games that have made you kind of scratch your head. Tennessee looks like they're going to be starting quarterback Will Levis, who came in as a rookie quarterback this season out of Kentucky. I did not have him in my mock draft for the first round. He was not drafted in the first round. I'm not sold on Will Levis. Coming into this, I was not sold that he was one of the top quarterbacks of the draft. But just because I wasn't sold that he was a first-round pick doesn't mean I don't hope the best for everybody chasing their dreams. So, Will Levis, know this. I didn't pick you to be in the first round, but I hope that you have a fantastic debut, and I hope your career is a long one. Because I pray and I hope the best for every single one of y'all. And I'm actually really excited for this week with Will Levis. I'm probably going to watch the game. What do you think, PJ?
Well, I've seen the kids play. I mean, and the kids are no doubter. This is Tannehill's team, you know. I mean, Tannehill is Tennessee, along with a big bruising running back. I don't know. Levis is going to hang in there. He's a big, strong guy. He's going to hang in there and throw. He can run a little bit, you know. But Atlanta's been playing really good ball the last couple of weeks, and I've been watching them, and I'm thinking, how are they doing it? They're doing it with running and defense. So I think I'm going to stay with Atlanta.
Yeah, you know, Atlanta's been trying to figure things out. They obviously have a lot of talent. They're not using Kyle Pitts. Go.
Gators.
There it is. They're not using Kyle Pitts as much as they should.
They're stupid if they don't play him.
Yeah, they're not using him as much as they should, but I'm going to pick Atlanta to win this game. It's Will Levis's first one. It's at home. Like I said, I hope Will Levis plays well in this game, and we'll see what happens from here. Always hoping the best for people chasing their dreams. I'm going to give Atlanta the slight edge, though. They've won some games that have surprised me, and they've won them on the road, so I'm going to pick them in this one. New Orleans at Indianapolis. What do you have, PJ?
Indianapolis is still playing so-so. I mean, Minshew is doing the best he can with what he's got. He still is a pretty impressive guy here throwing the ball. I mean, I think we had him. We should have kept him. But anyway, I like New Orleans here, mainly because I think they're faster. So I'm going to – and Minshew he has a habit of throwing a lot of interceptions, and that's probably going to happen here. So I like New Orleans.
Indianapolis was at home, and they lost to the Cleveland Browns. They're at home again, and they're playing New Orleans, and I feel like New Orleans is going to have too much for them. Indy has not taken care of home field, and I think New Orleans gets this one. New England at Miami.
Well, this is two coming out again. I think Tyreek Hill was hurt last week, and he didn't practice at all this week. I think he practiced one time, but they gave him the go-ahead. Anytime you got Tyreek Hill on the field, it's dangerous. Miami.
If New England finds a way to do... Listen, in years past when Tom Brady was the New England quarterback, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets always threatened playing the Patriots twice a year, that they could steal one of those games that people thought there's no way they could win. Now the script has flipped, and the Patriots are that team. They just stole one from Buffalo. Can they steal one from Miami? I think they could. I think they definitely could. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, but mark my words. If the Patriots steal a game from Miami, all of a sudden the Patriots are not dead within their own division, as much as that may startle you folks. If the Patriots find a way to win this, who knows? But I got Miami in this game. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. They scored 17 points, which was the not good number of week 7 in the NFL. If you scored 17, I think 3 teams lost scoring 17 points. So I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins to get back to it at home. The New York Jets at the New York Giants. Guess what? Neither one of these is considered a road game. Nobody has to spend any money. Nobody has to put any gas into it. Nobody has to do anything. They should play this game every single year because it's a home game for both teams. You would be stupid to not save money having this game every year, yet they don't. The Giants and the Jets, the battle for MetLife. This is my belief, PJ. It's called MetLife Stadium. Whoever wins, they should play every year, Jets versus Giants in MetLife. Whoever wins the game should have the rights of having, like, for a week, the MetLife sign, like, go away, and for this other neon sign to appear above it that either says Jets or Giants Stadium. Whoever wins in MetLife should be able to take the naming rights for a week. I think that'd be pretty cool. Who do you have in this one?
Zach Wilson really did a good job last week. He came alive. He was catching his receivers. He was making the right moves. He was making the right reads. And the Jets, of course, don't have Daniel Jones. I don't think so, at least. And Barkley, he's mad. You can't play mad. I like the Jets.
Yeah, I like the Jets in this one too, PJ. I don't see a world where the Jets don't get this victory. Their defense is far better than the Giants' defense, so I'm going to go with the New York Jets, and they've had some good games against better teams this season, so I'm going with the Jets, even though this is considered their road game. Jacksonville, who still has not had a week off, played 2 weeks in England, had to come home, play immediately, then had to play a Thursday game after that, and they're on a 4-game winning streak. They go to Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh has struggled. Yet Pittsburgh just went on the West Coast and beat the Rams. Pittsburgh has been a very confusing team to understand. Jacksonville is on a 4-game winning streak. What do you got?
Well, of course, we're going to say Jacksonville. I mean, I firmly believe that they can win, not because they're the home team. I think that Allen and Walker on the edge are going to give a lot of problems to Pitts quarterback. So Kenny there, my man. The only problem I have is Jacksonville's offense is just so-so. I know that they're good. I know that they can be. I know they have the players. I know that Lawrence is a generational talent and all that, blah, 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 blah. We know all that. All I want to do is I want to see them press the field a little bit more. Look, it's a sin if you don't get Calvin Ridley into these games. This kid needs to be targeted 7 or 8 times, and half of them got to be more than 40 yards. He's got to get the ball, and they got to do it against a good team, and they can do it against a good defensive team like that. I read one pundit yesterday saying that Jacksonville is the number 3 team in the league, behind Kansas City and Philadelphia. I hope they don't read any headlines like that, but I do believe that Jacksonville has the talent to win this game. They got the defense to stop Pickett, despite what J.J. Watt can do. I like the Jaguars a lot.
Yeah, Jaguars playing on the road the only time I saw them play on the road in Pittsburgh was the divisional round of the playoffs when they had almost made it to the Super Bowl. So I know they can win in Pittsburgh. They had a totally different team and different coaching staff back then, but I will tell you this. Jacksonville on a 4-game winning streak. They've seemingly gotten locked in. They've seemingly connected with each other and done what they needed to do to find their way and to do what I had said before, which was reset, refocus, and to spend that time together, regroup. So they're 4-0 in their last 4 games. They've made no excuses. I don't anticipate them making excuses now. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. And I get to write Dallas and Jacksonville next to each other, my 2 teams. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to say Jacksonville winning this game on the road. And might be a challenge, but this is a game where they got to stay locked in. And like PJ said, don't read the bad things about you, but don't read the good things about you either. Keep playing your game and keep the outside noise outside. Philadelphia at Washington, PJ, your thoughts?
Oh, Philly should roll on this one. Jalen Hurts, I know he got hurt last week, but it doesn't matter. I mean, 75% Jalen Hurts is better than anything they got. So it's Philly.
Yeah, I'm going with Philly in this matchup. Washington found a way to lose to the Giants, and that doesn't bode well when you're playing Philadelphia. So I'm going to go with Philly in this one to get the victory. Next game, Houston at Carolina. Houston had 2 top 3 picks. And Houston has had a pretty nice season at 3-3. Carolina had the number 1 overall pick, and Carolina's quarterback looks like he just woke up from a nap that was 3 years long. The team is 0-6. He looks dazed and confused. I want the best for Bryce Young. They've had 15 different quarterbacks in the last 3 seasons, it feels like. I don't know what Carolina's doing, but they're not doing anything right. They're at home in this one. Man, if I had stayed in Charlotte for a couple more days, I could have seen UNC Charlotte down the road, and then I could have went to a Carolina Panthers game. Houston's playing Carolina, PJ. What do you got?
Well, this is a situation where Carolina may, I'm just saying may, have made the wrong decision on selecting a quarterback. Bryce Young came with all the hype from Alabama, doing this, doing that, even though he's a little bit bigger than you are, for crying out loud. But on the other hand, Stroud is doing what he's supposed to be doing with Texans. Imagine if Stroud was with Carolina and Bryce Young was with Texas. That's how funny this game is. Stroud is a huge surprise to me because I'm not an Ohio State guy. I don't like their system. They got these big, tall guys that throw for 1 million yards, and they don't win the big games. But as soon as I say that, they're probably going to run the table. But Stroud has really impressed me. This kid doesn't look like he's a rookie. I think he's only thrown 1 interception in these games. So because of that, I like him at Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud has really come through this year. He's been fun to watch, and as a Jaguar fan, it could be tough to say, but I mean, C.J. Stroud has definitely been a good addition to Houston so far, and he's made them somewhat of a threat. I don't think Carolina's much of a threat to anybody right now. I think if there was an ant in the Bank of America Stadium, it would be more of a threat to the Panthers than they would be to the ant.
Right.
Carolina might have the number 1 pick this year too, which would be history because Carolina and Jacksonville both became franchises in '95, and if they both have back-to-back number 1 picks, that would definitely be historic. I hope Carolina figures it out. I hope they find a way, but I don't think it's going to come against Houston in this game. There are so many games at 1 o'clock, but there's 4 games around the 4 o'clock time. Cleveland at Seattle, PJ. The Cleveland Browns have made this an interesting year. They're 4-2. The Seattle Seahawks, on the other side of it, they're 4-2 as well. And they've lost 1 game at home, and they've won the other 2. We know that the 12th man in Seattle is supposed to be loud and very helpful to them. What do you have for this one?
Well, frankly, Seattle is a much better 4-2 team. Cleveland's done it with smoke and mirrors. The quarterbacking situation is a mess. I have no idea what Deshaun Watson is even doing. Why are they paying this man a couple of $100 million? I don't get it. He's got a sore shoulder. Walks out of the game and tells the coach he can't play anymore. He's got a hurt shoulder. Are you kidding me? Hit the road, kid. I like Seattle because of that.
Yeah, Seattle Seahawks, folks. I got to go with Seattle, too, at home. I mean, Seattle's had some moments where you're sitting here scratching your head like this team should be even better than 4-2, but like PJ said, they're the better 4-2 between them and Cleveland. And I would think of Cleveland right now as a team that I'm not sold on them, but Seattle, I believe, can make the playoffs. Kansas City at Denver. Denver has found ways to win games. Denver has found ways to be relevant in a time where a lot of people are saying there's no way this team is going to maybe even win a single game this year. They played the Chiefs twice in the last 3 weeks. The last time they played the Chiefs in Kansas City, they held them under 20, 19-8. The Jets, the Broncos, and the Jaguars have all held the Chiefs either under 20 or right around 20 because the Jets gave up 23. What are your thoughts with such close proximity of Denver playing them again, and as well as they played them in Kansas City, is there some chance that Denver can win this game at home?
I don't think so. It's just Denver does not look comfortable. And their Hall of Fame coach isn't doing much with the roster he's got. I don't think he's using Russell Wilson correctly. I think tough for me to say. I think he needs to run around a little bit more instead of stay here in the pocket. You hate to hear that from me, and I really don't want to say that. But he's got to find a way to win. And Kansas City will just blow this game wide open if Sean Payton doesn't come up with some kind of game plan. And Russell Wilson's the key here. If Russell Wilson can outscore Kansas City, that's the only way they can win it. Because Kansas City just, with Kelsey and the rest of these guys, they're all over the field. They're just, the more I see Mahomes, the more amazed I am at how this kid reacts to situations. He's got a sense where if he's in a pocket and is closing in on it, he darts to the right, he doubts to the left, he does this, he spins around, and he's still in the pocket, and he's throwing the ball. The kid is amazing, and I love to watch him play, and I'm going to be watching this game. KC.
I'm going to tell you this right now, PJ. Okay? Kansas City has really struggled to score. We talk about Travis Kelce, we talk about Patty Mahomes, but this team has really struggled to score the ball. Miami put 70 points on the Broncos. Kansas City put 19 on them. So does that mean that Miami is better than Kansas City? Time will tell. But Kansas City, to me, has been dancing with that second loss. I don't think it's going to come in this game. But Kansas City, I had to throw you a little twist there. But Kansas City is in a place right now where I am having a watchful eye. Is this a team that makes it back to the Super Bowl despite the fact that they've gutted it out? Does this just show the mettle of the team? Or is this team up against the right team not going to be able to win? Can they play Jacksonville again and win? Could they play the Jets again and win? Time will tell. The next game that I have up for you is the cheapest ticket this week. If I go to Arizona a day early, I can see Lamar Jackson come to Arizona for $17. It's like a buy one, get one free. Hey, buy a ticket to the World Series. You can come see the Cardinals for free. Baltimore at Arizona. What are your thoughts, PJ, as the Arizona Diamondbacks are helping all the businesses in the state of Arizona to make a lot of money this week? I don't know if Arizona's helping a lot when the Cardinals side of things, $17 for their tickets, $500 for the Diamondbacks tickets. I know it's two different teams, two different leagues, and two different times of the year, but the juxtaposition is definitely there. And I don't understand how the tickets are $17 because even if you live in Arizona, why wouldn't you want to see Lamar Jackson? So, Lamar Jackson just blew out the Detroit Lions. If he did it to the Lions, is he about to put up 50 or 60 on Arizona?
Yes. If I were you, I would leave a day early and watch this game if you could. If you get a ticket that cheap, heck, imagine watching Arizona play football and then watching them play baseball. Are you kidding me? I would do that. Lamar Jackson's too tough for anyone, really, and he'll be too much for the Arizona. Arizona just is not a good football team right now at all.
Yeah, I got to agree with PJ on this one. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens in this matchup to get the victory over the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, they beat the Cowboys, which is why the Cowboys concern me this year. But Arizona is 1-6. They've lost 4 in a row. The only game they won was the game against Cowboys, 28-16 at home. Very confusing. But this Arizona Cardinals team, they've changed their coaches. They've changed their quarterbacks. They might change their quarterback again. We'll see what happens. They might go after Caleb Williams in the draft, for goodness sakes, out of USC. So is Kyler Murray's time done in Arizona? That's the big question. Cincinnati at San Francisco. San Francisco's on a 2-game losing streak. Cincinnati's on a 2-game winning streak. They've won 3 of 4. They're 3-3. San Francisco looked like they were untouchable. Now, they've lost 2 games in a row. Does Joe Burrow go into San Francisco and come out with a victory to the team that lost at the Browns and at the Vikings, or does San Fran regroup at home?
this is crucial game for San Francisco because Purdy is hurt. Purdy's in the concussion protocol. Now, if they're going to be insistent about that, he won't play in the game. If he doesn't play, Joe Burrow will win. If he does play, San Francisco will win. So it's an either-or situation. But Purdy has to win. Purdy has to play for them to win. And if he's in concussion protocol, he can't play. So whatever happens, whatever decision they're going to try to make in the next couple of days is crucial to them right now because if they go into this game without Purdy and lose again, that's 3 games in a row. And now the what ifs are going to come into the situation. What is this? What is this? What if? Can't happen. Purdy has to play to win.
Brandon Allen, former backup to the Jaguars, third-string quarterback in San Francisco, just to make a note of that. And I'm going to tell you something, and my pun is completely intended. If the starting quarterback for San Francisco does not play in this game, it'll be anything but Purdy. I am going with the Cincinnati Bengals to win the game on the road. Joe Burrow was a guy who started the season that wasn't fully healthy. And Joe Burrow now seeming like he's catching his stride. Hopefully he's feeling better more than anything else because that's the most important for the longevity of him as a human being. So I will join PJ and go with Cincinnati. Chicago at Los Angeles Chargers. For some reason, Sunday Night Football has been low scoring pretty much all season long. The games have been horrible. They've been darn near unwatchable in the first half. And with all of that, the NFL said, we're going to give you Chicago at the Chargers. We're going to take all those games you didn't want to see, and we're going to give you a game that you probably don't want to see. Papa Joe, will you be staying up late to watch the Bears and the Chargers on Sunday night?
No. I tell you, I do like Heber in the voice in this game. But I'm going to get this tidbit for you. Chicago, I'm not saying this could be, but Chicago may have found himself a quarterback. If this kid comes in and plays like he did last week, Justin Fields is going to be history. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So if the kid comes in and lights it up, management's got a hell of a problem. But anyway, I like San Diego no matter what.
Tyler Badgett, you're talking about 21 of 29, 1 touchdown, no interceptions in the game, and he leads them to a 30-12 victory for the Bears over the visiting Vegas Raiders. So you got him coming from Shepherd College, and this Shepherd has been leading his sheep, or the Bears, however you want to call it. The Shepherd's been leading the flock through 1 game. Can he do it through 2? Chicago Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers at home. But I agree with you. Tyler Badgett, hey, this might be his chance to shine. The Raiders somehow get some more prime time here. Prime time. So the Raiders will be on the road at Detroit. Do the Raiders win this game on Monday night, October 30th, when you should be watching the World Series? No offense to either one of these two teams. But will you be watching this game, number 1? And number 2, can the Lions bounce back from being embarrassed against the Ravens? Or will the Raiders take advantage of a team that is reeling right now?
That's a two-part question. And the part is, I'm not going to be watching this game because I'll be watching the World Series. And I do believe, I don't know what happened to Detroit last week. Goff is a much better quarterback than he saw. I don't know what it was. Game plan, maybe the offensive coordinator had a bad day. Something happened. But that won't happen now because they'll come back with a flurry. Detroit easy.
Yeah, Monday night's been some tough games to watch as well. This could be a 17-13 game, but I'm going to give Detroit the slight edge in this matchup, which means that PJ and I have now given you all of our picks for upcoming NFL Week 8. We will end with the top dog of the week, but I cannot do the top dog of the week without my little girl Lily's help. So, Lily, I now ask you on cue for your bark for the top dog of the week. Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the only place to bring your dog in central and upstate New York where you can feel safe, secure, and know that they're being taken care of. Canine Camp Dog Daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, right around the corner. Canine Kampground Dog Boarding for longer-term care. Each dog gets their own cabin, and if your dog likes watching TV, there's a couple of cabins with televisions as well. Canine Kampground Dog Boarding on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse. Call the daycare for reservations today at 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. And for the Kampground Dog Boarding for reservations, call 315-299-4013 to book your cabin for your dog. That's 315-299-4013. Top Dog of the Week. PJ, give me your top dog of the week. Whoever it is, whatever sport it is, you can pick anyone from anywhere of this past week. Who do you pick?
Well, it's not from the past week, last couple of weeks. It's going to be Graham Mertz that I talked about, the quarterback from Florida. I was really apprehensive about him coming to Florida, and my bros up there were telling me he just wasn't a good quarterback, and here he's coming from the Big Ten into the big bad SEC. I just didn't think that he could do what he's doing. And the more I read about him and understood that he's an older guy, he's not a kid, he's, 22, 23 years old, just like Joe Burrow was with LSU. And he's turned the Gators around. And I didn't think this would happen. I thought that we'd have quarterback problems. I thought we'd have defensive problems. And for him to come in and do that, and then against South Carolina, going for 423 yards and beating him in the last minute was absolutely positively sensational. And he's my top dog, and I'm hoping he wins over the next top dog, which is Georgia.
Yeah. And so looking at this top dog of the week, the top dogs airing now, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. PJ picking Graham Mertz, the quarterback of the Florida Gators, as his top dog of the week. My top dog of the week has to go to the entire Arizona Diamondbacks franchise. I can say Terry Lavello for his decision-making. I can say Corbin Carroll for 3 hits in a Game 7, which I think it's him and Dustin Pedroia now or something of that sort. I could say the pitching staff of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I could say Brandon Pfaadt for everything that he's done as a rookie pitcher who we've been seeing in the Game 3s of these series, who's played very well. I can say Christian Walker. I can say Perdomo. I could say Moreno. I could say the entire team for their base stealing. The Arizona Diamondbacks have made me a really proud papa of a team that I have loved since they came in 1998. Paul Sewald wears my age. I just turned 38, and number 38's been closing out these games for us. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and that purple hair that makes him look like a troll doll, he's been great. Evan Longoria. And how can I not mention a man who's playing in his first ever postseason and has at least 1 hit in every single game he's played to put himself in Major League Baseball history, Ketel Marte. This entire team has made me proud. Ginkel, Tommy Pham, Alec Thomas pointing up to God on that homer. Respect the respect. The Arizona Diamondbacks are my top dogs of the week because they gave me something I didn't know if I would ever see again. They gave me this opportunity to see this team rise. I've been excited for them all season, as I always am. I've stuck with them all season. I've mentioned them to Papa Joe all season. And I have not ever given up on their ability to make this postseason. The Arizona Diamondbacks play like a team. The Arizona Diamondbacks defense, pitching, and hitting has been there more often than not. I believe in them. I have believed in them. I continue to hope for them. and I cannot wait to see them. They gave me one of the greatest birthday gifts I've ever received in my entire life when the Arizona Diamondbacks won 2 games in my birthday week to tie the series 2-2 and are now going to the World Series for the first time in 22 years. I was 16 years old the last time it happened. Now I'm 38. And I got news about that I'm going to be presenting to you on my social media later today. Arizona, I can't pick one of you, so I pick all of you. I pick all of the fans that have embraced the chaos and shown up, all of the fans that have connected with me on social media in such a massive way, and everybody who has bought into my hashtag snakebitten and written it back to me and celebrated with me along the way. To every single one of the Arizona Diamondback faithful, hopeful, everyone who's believed, everyone who's been on the field, everyone who's played before, to my guy Luis Gonzalez who was at a recent game, to Randy Johnson, and on and on. Arizona, you are my top dogs of the week because you, at 38 years old, taught me something that you taught me at 16 years old. Don't ever care about other people's opinions of you, what they say about you, and what they try to do, and what they do. The only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself and that God loves you. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have focused on themselves. They've focused on faith. They've worked together. And it never mattered what anybody else said. It always mattered what they believed. So they're my top dogs of the week because they gave me one of the greatest birthday gifts ever. And I am honored and privileged that the Arizona Diamondbacks continue to make this an incredible season that I get to enjoy as the big kid that I am. Exclamation point.
You're supposed to be impartial.
I am impartial, but I can love what they've done. Why can't I honor them as my top dogs? You just honored a Gator and he didn't even play this past week. Why don't you be impartial? Papa Joe woofing at me, I'm woofing back. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, all jokes aside, PJ, thank you for the extra time. We went 4 hours today, or 3 hours today. I appreciate. I know. I appreciate you. I love you. I can't wait to talk with you soon. Go Diamondbacks and go Gators. We'll talk soon.
All right, that's good. See you later, bud.
See you. That coming from Papa Joe one more time here on Wake Up Call. I want to thank you all for being a part of the broadcast as always. I am impartial because in my impartial bracket, I didn't pick the Diamondbacks. I was like, I can't pick them just because they're my team. That's not what I do. I'm not doing it with Syracuse. I'm not doing it. If I think Syracuse will lose a game, I'll tell you. If I think Lemoyne will lose a game, I'll tell you. If I think the Diamondbacks will lose, I'll tell you. So you never stop being a fan when you're a fan. But as an impartial broadcaster, I'm proud of them. As a fan, I'm proud of them. Who wouldn't be proud of the story Arizona's brought you? They're my top dogs of the week because they believed in themselves from the inside out, and they didn't let anything take them away from who they are. Even if they had a moment, it didn't last. This Arizona Diamondbacks team has not stopped being who they are and believing in themselves, and that to me, in any walk of life, is worth celebrating, and that's why I'm celebrating everything that they've done. YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT. Find me on both. And on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Shout out to our top dogs of the week. Proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. One more time for Larry. And with that being said, once the shows go live, you can hop into the archive and you can see us, or pardon me, listen to us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, Spotify, TuneIn, and you can watch us on YouTube by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thank you to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, where I have my own Sunday, the DT Dolphin, dedicated to the Lemoyne College Dolphins. Go out and get the DT Dolphin today on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York, right down the road from Lemoyne College. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the snack capital, the place you need to go for all of your snacking, for your chocolate dip pretzels, chocolate dip Oreos, popcorn, kettle corn, premium corn, like the Elvis, which is peanut butter and banana. It's fantastic. Cotton candy, lemonade, and more. Head out to Ma and Pa's today and celebrate Halloween with them as well. The Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Chick-fil-A Cicero still closed for refurbishment. They'll be open soon, God willing. Head out to Chick-fil-A Clay today, 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Great Lakes Honda City, 317 at Montgomery Street, open Tuesday through Saturday. And the Taste of Mexico burger is still on the menu. Go get it today. It is fantastic. I've had it 3 times already because it's that good. 317 Montgomery Street in downtown Syracuse. PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, and Mother's Cupboard. Mother's Cupboard, where you can get the Cuse McMother, my spin on the breakfast sandwich. With the basketball season starting, it's perfect time to go and get the Cuse McMother. With all of your teams that you love celebrating a Buffalo win, it's a perfect time to get the Cuse McMother. With Lemoyne jumping into their men's and women's basketball seasons in D1 for the first time ever, it's a perfect time to get the Cuse McMother. Celebrating the successes of men's and women's soccer at Bryan and Stratton, it's the perfect time to get the Cuse McMother. Alfred University making it to the postseason in many sports, Cuse McMother. It is the sandwich for anything you're celebrating. Anniversaries, birthdays, reuniting, and it feels so good. Head out to Mother's Cupboard, 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And get the Cuse McMother. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Cut it up and have it with syrup today. The Lemoyne College Dolphins are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Check out your Dolphins every single Wednesday during Dolphin Time. AD and DT, the first and third Wednesday of each month. Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Coming to you every second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can get all of our specials, including all of our bonus content from this past week, by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, and go to the Lemoyne Dolphin playlist that is on our YouTube channel. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com, and as always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Check out your Bobcats every single month on Wake Up Call with our exclusive content, including all of our specials that I talked about earlier in today's show, airing with women's soccer and women's basketball. You will not find these specials anywhere else. These conversations are exclusive to Wake Up Call, and you can get them by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking on our BSC Syracuse tab for the playlist on our YouTube channel for the Bobcats. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com in their newly renovated website, which looks really, really cool, so check that out. And as always, go Bobcats. The Alfred University Saxons are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Saxons during Saxon Time every single Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You will find your Alfred University Saxons. They're in the presidential perspective with President Mark Zupan and the Saxon Spotlight, spotlighting student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni of the Alfred University Saxons. You can get all this content, including Peter Cuneo, who is an alum to Alfred University, who is the CEO of Marvel Entertainment. My special with him now available on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and click subscribe, and make sure while you're there you go to the Alfred U. Saxons playlist and watch and listen to all of our Saxon content up to this point. Go to GoSaxons.com for more information, and as the website tells you, go Saxons. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. Thank you to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver about keeping the outside noise outside. Thank you to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding for the top dog of the week, and Lily for her bark. And thank you to Papa Joe for joining us for 3 hours today to celebrate the sports world and to celebrate you. Folks, please understand something before I let you go. I want the best for Syracuse University. I want the best for Syracuse football, and I want the best for our community. I'm not seeing that, which is why I'm saying something. And I hope that the decisions made from here will be made with the right people in the right places, the right care, the right concern, lack of ego, appreciation and respect for people in the community, and with love. Lead with love and you'll never fail. With that being said, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon, and stay close to our social media as I have big news for what's